Still doesn't say we're live on my end.
I think we're live, but it says it's Captain Jaffe's Oops All Games Demos. Something's going. Let me just fix that real quick. Let me adjust that for you. All right.
Oh, yeah. So.
Well, we're not very smart, Bunny Button, but that's okay. The kids seem to be all right with this being a bird.
Yeah.
All right, let me get this going. Now we're live. There we go. Necro says we hear your secrets. That's okay. That's okay. Motherfucker, you think I care if you hear my secrets? Now, I just need to let people know they're in the wrong room. Well, that's okay, too.
Oops.
All right. All right, let me set one more thing, and we will be off to... Giuseppe has joined the Diet Soda Soldiers. Giuseppe, we love you with all of our heart. What is the point of the heart thing on the right side of the screen? Baby, I don't know. I got nothing. I got nothing for you.
I heard someone say it'll push you up in the algorithm if your stream has a lot of interactions with that button. I don't know how true that is.
I don't know either.
Another streamer said it.
Well, they can go suck a big bag of moldy vaginas.
I hate it. It's in a very inconvenient spot.
I changed that because my brother is like, why do you always say suck a bag of dicks? That's homophobic. And I'm like, yeah, it probably is. All right, so fine. Suck a bag. It's the moldy part he doesn't quite understand, though. I'm like, it's moldy. Whether it's a dick or vagina, man, it's moldy.
It's the mold that's the
It's
problem.
moldy as shit. Multi-members only mode is off. Sub mode is on. We are now going to get started. Bunny, let me share my screen with you. We will start the official show. I would say, realistically, my dear friends, in about 2 minutes, the doors will open. It's going to be a weird show, but a good show tonight because the world is burning. But it's also a beautiful day outside, and your old Jaffe doesn't really know how to feel about it. Oh, it still says Steam Next Fest demos. Let's fix that too. We're going in good tonight, boys. What should the title be? Do you like watching plane? Do you want to build a snowman? Fuck you, you snowman building motherfucker.
I've never seen that movie.
It's a great motion picture show. It's a great motion picture show, Bunny Button. You should watch it. You should when your new niece is old enough. Take or show it to her on the videotape on the YouTube.
I love this accent.
Well, you know, sometimes we have to bring out the accent. That's how we do it, Bunny. Yeah. Okay, we can't all be beautiful clowns. Okay, we have to play with the hands we're given. My bubba. Yeah. Here you go, pal. Let's begin. We'll start the show in literally 2 minutes, but I need to play some music because Tech's not here, so he's not going to get. He might get pissed anyway, but I don't care because I got to play some music that's not so sad.
Yeah.
That's not this one. This one. There we go. What the fuck is that? I wrote this for Bunny.
That she's back in the atmosphere with drops of Jupiter in her head.
Aww.
She acts like summer and walks like rain. Reminds me that there's a time to change.
Why'd you say aw?
You ready for Bunny?
Since the return of a stay on the moon, she listens like
we live?
talks like June.
Are we live right now or no?
I'm basically in the movie.
Did you sail across the sun? Did you make it to the Milky Way to see the lights all faded?
Ah, okay, sure.
Train them kids.
Tell me, did you fall from a shooting star? One without a permanent scar, and then you missed me while you were looking for yourself out there.
You gotta wait for the melody. No. Hang on, we'll be there in a minute.
Now that she's
Come on,
back
Jaffe.
from that soul
Think you would've liked
vacation,
Mandela.
tracing her way through the constellation.
I think you what now?
So I think you would have liked my pick better, but
So what she does chapel reminds me that there's room to grow.
Wine the music playing, Willie.
Now that she's back in the atmosphere, I'm afraid that she might think of me as plain old Jane Doe, sorry about a man who was too afraid to fly, so we never did land. But tell me, did the wind sweep you off your feet? Did you finally get the chance to dance along the light of day and head back to the Milky Way? But tell me, did Venus blow your mind? Was it everything
Every time I try to order from Domino's, I have to reset my password because I forget it. Anyone else have this problem?
I don't know. They're from Domino's. You said Domino's.
Yeah.
Can you imagine no love, fried deep fried chicken? Your best friend always sticking up for you. Even when I know you're wrong, can you imagine no first dance, freeze dried romance, 5-hour phone conversation? The best soy latte that you ever had in me. But tell me, did the wind sweep you off your feet? Did you finally get the chance to dance along the light of day and head back to the Milky Way? And tell me, did you sail across the sun? Did you make it to the Milky Way to see the lights all faded? Heaven is overrated. Tell me, did you fall for a shooting star? One without a permanent scar, and then you missed me while you were looking for yourself.
All right, welcome to the show. Welcome to Madhouse. Why are we opening with that song? Why the fuck not? It is a weird day. It is a weird day. Let's just go to the big screen. We are here with Tech Protect. We are here, of course, with the delightful Ms. Bunny Button right there. Let me pop the screen out there so we can all enjoy looking at our dumb faces. We have dumb faces. We're going to look at our dumb faces as we talk. It's a weird day, but I'll tell you why in a couple of minutes. But before I get to the shit that's on my mind, Bunny, you look great. Show everybody the pants. They look like a circus tent. Look at that.
Yeah.
Look at that. Look at a little flare at the bottom. Back in my day, we called those bell bottoms, baby.
Bell bottom.
Bell bottoms.
Boom. Bell bottom. Boom. Bell bottoms.
Mushroom bell.
Bell bottom. Yep.
But look, how you doing? How's life, Bunny B?
It's lifing.
I don't know what that means. That's a non-committal answer of a coward.
Yeah. Well, today was just a day, I feel like.
Was
And
it
then
a
there was
bad
bad
day?
stuff. So, well, it was just a chaotic day. And then also just bad stuff.
Bad
Every
stuff
time I got on Twitter, it was like, whoa,
Bad day.
what's going
Bad day.
on?
Tech, how you doing?
I'm doing okay. I think I got hardware issues. That's been
That's what she
messing
said.
me.
You get that? What happens is you can say almost that's what it doesn't matter. Welcome to the show.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, it's weird because I was outside walking the dog before the show and okay, Bunny loud, Tech loud, Jaffe low. Yeah, why not? Yeah, why not? Sure. Of course that's what's happening because why wouldn't it happen? Why the goddamn
Today.
hell wouldn't it be happening? Let me turn myself up if I can. Tech, help me out with this. But I was outside walking the dog. Oh, I see. Here we go. And it was it was and remains, because it's still sunny outside, absolutely gorgeous fucking day out. Just fucking beautiful. So on one hand, you're sitting there going, I really appreciate being alive. This is a pretty goddamn good day. It's a beautiful place that I live, blah, blah, blah. And, but there's so much shit going on. And so here's what we're going to do tonight on Madhouse. We are going to give you the fun. We are going to give you the weird, because that's what we love and that's what can be interesting. But I'm not going to not talk about the plane crash and what's happening in Israel and Iran right now, and what's happening in Los Angeles and starting to be all over the country right now. And Bunny has a very good philosophy the last time she shared it with me, which is she just doesn't pay attention to a lot of the things. And on one hand, we'll get to that. When we get into the bad news of the section, the bad news section of the show, I will let you know we're going into those waters. If it's not for you, cool. But we're going to talk about it. We want to know what you guys think about it. But before we get there, and we'll get to Bunny's philosophy at that point in the show, because I don't think she's wrong about basically just going, don't pay any attention to it. At the same time, I struggle with that. But let's have some fun first. Here's what we're doing tonight on the show. First, let me ask you, you know what tomorrow is, Bunny? Tomorrow is going to be shit, according to a lot of people who are superstitious.
Yes, Friday 13th.
Friday 13th. You know why Friday 13th is so thought of to be so scary and bad?
I know that I know this, but I don't remember.
Technology. Do you know? You should know this. Little Christian boy can quote the Bible inside and out. Ooh. Yeah, Jesus has taken your tongue. No one can hear you. No one can hear you.
He's looking it up real quick.
He's looking it up. Here's what it is. I'm gonna. Can you? Let's see.
My mic was.
Okay. Can you tell us why? Can you tell the class why?
Is it? From what I would assume, it's probably because, there was Jesus, and the 12 apostles and the 13, and it's an unlucky number. And Norse mythology, I think, also plays a part into it with Loki and the 12 gods that came to his dinner and all that bullshit. But that's as far as I could.
Well,
assume.
Okay, so there were 13 guests at the Last Supper. There were 12 apostles, but then Judas was the 13th guest. And he was crucified the following day, which was a Friday, right? So that really kind of kicked it off. Then there were a bunch of Knights Templar killed October 13th, Friday, 1307. And then it just kind of started steamrolling, blah, blah, blah. But if you look it up, Friday the 13th is actually not a day of bad events happening unless you look back and call those events bad, which I guess they were. But then again, if Jesus hadn't been crucified and you believe in the Jesus and whatnot, then perhaps you'd be like, well, no, he had, it doesn't matter. The point is, that's not the day you think it is.
He had to go, yeah.
He had to go. There are 3 days, though, that have some pretty nasty things. One was, we were all alive for one of them. Do you know?
Freddie Mercury getting diagnosed with cancer was on Friday the 13th.
Perhaps it was, but he didn't have cancer. So maybe what was really unlucky for him is that he was diagnosed improperly, and they were trying to cure him of cancer, and he would have been alive if they would have tried to cure him of AIDS.
It's like the same thing.
September 11th. Not just because, of course, 9/11, but in 1973, the CIA-backed coup in Chile. President Allende was overthrown. 1857, the Mountain Meadows Massacre. But the biggest one is April 15th. 1989 was the Hillsborough disaster. 96 soccer fans crushed to death. 1912, the Titanic sank. In 1865, Abraham Lincoln died from being shot with the bullet. The other one is August 6, 1945, Hiroshima. 1890, in August 6, first execution by electric chair. And then it's considered one of the most symbolically catastrophic dates in human history. I'm not entirely sure why. I guess because August is 9/6. Maybe you turn the 9 up. Who the fuck knows? Okay, but there we go. Rocker Matt says Pineapple Express. Haven't seen it. Oh, Rocker Matt wants that on the movie list. Put that on, Tech. Put it on the wheel. Let us tell you what we're doing tonight, folks. We're doing Pot and Popcorn is coming up this weekend. We have Django. We need one more movie. The way we do it here is once we fill a wheel with $5 movie titles, you can fill the same title if you want to vote more than once. We'll spin it, and then we'll fill another wheel, and those two go head-to-head, and it determines what we watch. So right now it's Django and this other movie, which right now, if nobody votes, it's going to be Pineapple Express. First thing on the docket says K-Nub is a $2 choo-choo. Thank you, pal. We appreciate it very much. The other thing is, because we are doing a wide range of topics tonight on Madhouse. We have this new thing. We're doing wheels tonight. We're really into the wheels. $5 will get a new topic if you want to talk about something that we're not talking about. So it's like, Jaffe, I really want to hear you guys talk about X. Give us $5. We'll put it on the wheel. When the wheel has 10 topics or 5 topics, we'll figure it out. We'll spin it. And if whatever your topic comes up, we'll keep going. Okay. I have never seen Pineapple Express, Rocker Matt. No, he says it is the ultimate pot and popcorn movie. Willie says, please explain the goals slowly. That's about as good.
Oh.
Why's your mouth open, Bunny?
Because I heard that. I wish I didn't hear that.
You don't believe him?
That.
You don't think he's right that pot and popcorn best
No, that was
movie?
a quote from Pineapple Express, but I was shocked that you've never seen Pineapple Express.
I've never seen that. I've never seen Your Highness either. Which isn't that the one with the guy walking around with a cock on his like a necklace? That was terrible.
Are you surprised I haven't seen Pineapple Express, Bunny?
No.
What?
No one.
No.
He hasn't seen.
Yeah, you haven't seen anything.
Yeah. Jaffe, I would like to call in regarding the senator, Kenny. We're going to talk about that in just a little bit. And at that point, if time allows, absolutely. Half Baked was silly but good, says Maddie DeMarco. I haven't seen that either. Butterfly 420, hello, buddy. What genre of movies are we looking for? Whatever you want. It's not a horror fest, so it's kind of whatever movie you want to watch. Django can pair with whatever you want it to, really. Did you just say what to me like I'm an idiot?
You hadn't seen Half Baked? Like,
I did not start smoking pot until like I was, I did it once when I was like 30, and then I didn't really get serious about, taking it in until I was like 42 or something.
Yeah, but they're still great movies.
Well, whatever, man.
Warp Die, Colt Eclipse for 15 months says put PI on the wheel.
Pie on the wheel? I mean, that's not the way we do it, but given that you're a member for 15 months and it's the Cultic Ellipso, fuck it, give him a slot. Pie it's kind of a I haven't seen that either, Bunny. Am I a loser now? I know. Come on.
Is that pineapple inexpensive? What is pie?
No, it's called Pie, like, 3.19. It's from Aronofsky. It was his first movie, I believe. Okay. But let's talk briefly. Let's get to some good, fun stuff first. Jaws, which I am stunned. I saw this movie when I was 5 years old in the movie theater. My sister took me, her boyfriend, who became her husband, my brother-in-law, took me and my brother. And I loved it. I remember sitting in the theater. I remember driving in their car to go and come home. It was delightful. And the other day I'm watching, somebody put a clip of about a third of the way in the movie on the internet. And I'm like, oh my God, this movie still holds up. But the point is, Jaws, if you haven't seen it, is 50 years old. It is airing with a new Steven Spielberg introduction. Now that I say it's 50 years old, I must have been 3 because I'm 54. Oh, I was 4 when I saw it. They took me to the goddamn Jaws when I was 4 years old. Oh my goodness. Oh my God, Nikki, what are you doing? It was great, though. It was great, and it was and remains great. So enjoy that movie if you haven't seen it. It is so good. Detective Cochise wants Benny Loves You. Never heard of it? It's on the wheel. K-Nubs wants Brain Candy. That is not the Peter Jackson thing we tried to watch, is it?
I don't think so.
Because I'll fucking override that in a goddamn heartbeat. I'll override it in a goddamn heartbeat is what I'll fucking do. That was the worst fucking piece of shit. I couldn't sit through it. Detective Cochise, thank you, Betty. Welcome to the Cult Calypso. We very, very, very much appreciate you being part of our community. You are a ghost hunter, ghost buster extraordinaire, and we love you here, and we appreciate your support. So keep an eye out for Jaws. There's a lot of, horror makes me so happy. You'd think, well, Jaffe, I thought you were having a rough day. I am, but horror, for whatever reason I can't totally explain, lets the air out of the tire, makes me feel a lot goddamn better. Robert Eggers, do you know who that is? Tech doesn't, but Bunny, you probably know who the director Robert Eggers is. He did The Witch, and he did Nosferatu, and he did The Lighthouse. You know what he's making now? This is going to be shitty cool, man. They signed him up. He is making his take on Dickens' A Christmas Carol, right? That's a really weird pairing, right? Because it's like, this guy's going to make that. I mean, it is a scary story.
Yeah,
it can be. It hasn't been presented as a scary story, I don't think, ever. Not
I
in that
always kind of thought it was scary.
For kids. But I mean, it's like, oh no, it's but this guy's going to fucking make it, can you imagine? Imagine if the guy who did Hereditary was doing it. But this is going to be great. This is gonna be great. Matt DeMarco says, I've heard horror fans are nicer than almost any other fan base. Absolutely. Abso-fucking-lutely. Because why? Because we get it up and out, up and out, up and out, says the therapist. And that's exactly what you have to do. Speaking of Nikki, my sister, there is her beautiful child, Scott, in the chat. My nephew, he says, by the way, next time you see your sister, tell her it's 50 years since her and Steven dragged me to Jaws and I was 4. But I loved it. My brother, Philip, cried the whole time. But I fucking loved it. Where'd it go? Scott says, have you seen the new Frankenstein trailer? No. Oh, from Guillermo del Toro, right? No, I have not. Fuck it, it's a rough day. We need some inspiration. Let's watch it together, then we'll get to the stories. Da Vinci's Demons, thank you for the super chat. He says, put Spaceballs on the wheel, which I haven't seen since it came out, but I did see Kyle Steffi that they announced they are doing another Spaceballs, part 2. And somebody was saying they should get, because John Candy's dead. He played the Chewbacca character. I think his name was Barf. Somebody said it was who's the guy who was going to get on SNL, but he got fired. He does the good Trump impersonation, has the mustache, kind of chubby dude. They said
he's on Tires, the show Tires.
Yeah,
on
he's
Netflix.
hilarious. They were like, he would be great to replace John Candy, and I'm like, yeah, that's a really good call. So. All right,
Shane Gillis.
Shane Gillis, that's right. Let's look at this Frankenstein trailer before we get to some goofy-ass news. Here we go. Guillermo del Toro. Apparently, people who have seen it say it's delightful. Have you guys seen this trailer, Bunny or Technology?
I've not.
Well, we are now about to watch it together. All right, here we go.
I had determined that the memory of my evils should die with me. Some of what I will tell you is fact. Some is not. But it is all true. What manner of creature is that? What manner of devil made him? I did. I had a vision. An idea took shape in my mind. Inevitable. Unavoidable. Until it became truth. In seeking life, I created death.
Christoph Waltz is in that? Is he the monster?
Yeah.
Oh my god, that looks amazing. That looks fucking fantastic. Now,
I love Christoph Waltz.
I do too. I am excited. Now, Del Toro did come out and say it's not going to be horror, which I'm like, but no, did you see the trailer? So I don't know. But I'm excited for it. What I will say is that once again, we got problems. The country's falling apart, and all this is going to do is piss people off against Jews. Again, more anti-Semitism, but I still want to see the movie though. So I'll watch it. Thank you, Scott, for that. All right. Yeah. So let us move forward here. All right, there we go. Yeah, that looks really fucking good. Really fucking good. Young Frankenstein put it on the wheel. You got to pay, baby. You got to cough it up. You got to cough up the ducats, baby. That's how we do it here. I've never seen Young Frankenstein either. Believe that. I think I walked out of Young Frankenstein when I was a kid because I expected a horror movie, and it wasn't that. And I'm like, what the fuck is this? You know, I'm bothered because my joke either didn't land or it landed and it wasn't good and no one cared about the Jews.
Oh, I thought you were serious.
Oh.
How would I be serious?
I didn't really.
Because
Yeah, Jews in America getting hate, that happens.
Frankenstein, he's clearly a
Yeah, I
Jewish
get that.
doctor.
Yeah,
Forget it. You know what?
It was one of those jokes.
You know,
I think
I'm putting train back on. Here we go.
Okay.
Okay. Listen, though, you guys. Wrong time and place for a joke, baby. Of all days, today is the best. Young Frankenstein didn't get the Jew joke. Sorry, Jaffe.
Young
Joker, thank you for the $5 super chat. It
Didn't
goes
get
on
the
the
Jew
wheel.
joke. Sorry,
Goes on the
Jaffe.
wheel. Once we fill it up with 10, we're spinning it again. I want to tell you guys a story. This is insane, but before you agree that it's insane, I'm going to tell you a follow-up story as well. But maybe you guys heard what happened in Uganda over the weekend. This is some bullshit. Okay. Elementary school, primary school, the kids began screaming, hitting themselves, crawling on the ground on their bellies like snakes, and screaming out the word Monday, 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 who happened to be their teacher, a guy named, believe it or not, Expedito Monday. They shut the school down, and students, when they reopened it, continued to faint, attack each other. Uncontrollable strength, people said. I don't buy it. It started with just 2 kids, but within days, almost half the school was affected. They were crawling on their bellies like snakes and animals. The teacher hadn't come back, but they still said it was his fault. So he's gone into hiding, and they burned his house down this weekend. They literally, a mob of angry individuals descended upon his property and burned the home to the ground. Authorities in the community described vigilante justice and called for calm in the community until the matter can be resolved. But here's the thing. Before we get to the point where we say, can you believe these third world country Ugandans? I'm assuming it's a third world country. It sounds like one, but I know that's terrible, but I don't fucking know. It's pretty much a third world country. Tech, am I wrong on that? Uganda?
I would say so far. I think they define third world countries based on like access to like food and water and shit. I think it is not great over there.
Right. So, you know, look, you could say that's bullshit, but you know, here's Kirk Cameron's sister. You know, here's what she said. You know, and she's in America and she speaks English. So, you know, I don't have to tell you. We are all fucked. Here she is. My favorite part. I'll tell you my favorite part when we're done with the clip. But here we go.
Just someone real quick watching before we go. It looks like the UN no longer uses the word third world, but they use the term LDC, which is least developed country.
Do I look like I work at the UN?
It is considered so impoverished that it is essentially like in need of assistance from everybody in the world.
Okay, so it's you could say, oh my God, that's well. Of course, they have these silly beliefs. Okay. Here's Kirk Cameron's sister.
I don't even want someone watching a scary movie in our house on the TV because to me, that's just a portal. Listen, I'm in the film industry. I understand how it all works. However, there's still something that can be incredibly demonic while they've made it. And I feel like it's a portal that gets opened up and let in. And that just reminded me, like you posted something a while back about liquid death. Yeah. And you're like, so do you want to buy a product that is literally being cursed as it's going out into distribution?
Now, clearly the stupidest thing that she said was, I'm in the film business. Because, no, you're not. Being in your brother's movies like, Kirk Cameron Saves Christmas doesn't count. That's the most offensive part of this. But the point is, though, if she literally believes that a can called Liquid Death is cursed and horror movies are a portal when they make them to let demons in, I don't think we're in any position to make fun
Have you never
of
known
Ugandan.
anybody like this? I know so many people like this.
You do not. How so?
I
Describe
do.
this to me. What they're like what? Like what exactly?
Literally just, okay, when I was growing up, my mom's neighbor was like a really crazy Christian woman, and she wouldn't let their kids like play Pokemon. They couldn't, watch Harry Potter. They couldn't watch anything that wasn't PBS. And they couldn't have Halloween candy because it like had bats and stuff on the wrappers. So I guess I grew up in Alabama, so I know I was probably surrounded by a number of people like this, but I never really engaged with them. But do you actually think, though, there's a point, like, I understand we need to respect people's religion and their philosophies, and everyone's different, blah, blah, blah. But isn't this just crazy town at this point? Like, isn't there a line? Isn't there a limit where we say... Oh, yeah, well... she's paying for it now because her kids don't want anything to do with her. Her kids don't have anything to do with her because they say that she ruined their childhoods and like. Oh,
she raised the kids like super religious.
Yeah. Super religious. They read their Bible all the time. I hated going over to their house.
Oh, I thought you meant Candace Cameron.
Oh no, I'm talking about my neighbor's
like you went over to Kirk Cameron's sister's house.
Oh yeah, I went over there. Yeah, her kids hate her.
And they may read the Bible,
but her kids may end up hating her when they grow up. She don't let them like. Because the thing with my neighbor's kids, like they say all the time, like they don't get references. Like they're so behind for everybody their age.
Yeah, they just get like Veggie Tales. That's the only reference they get, or something. Yeah. Or Kirk Cameron movies.
Yeah.
I wonder what that's like.
What do you mean? Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, there you go.
What's it like not getting references?
Yeah, no, I understand. But I mean, the thing is, I mean, do you think though? Like, I mean, first off, let me ask this question. It's like, don't you think the best religion would be one where you find it on your own? Like, you don't get indoctrinated when you're a kid. So if you are 25 and you find Christianity and it speaks to you, that, okay, whether I agree or disagree with some of the literature, I can go, okay, well, that's what you needed in your life then. But, and maybe it's what you need for the rest of your life and your afterlife, and that's great. But when you're raised a certain way, I mean, speaking of my nephew, Scott's in the chat, he's Christian now. He was raised Jewish. His brother is Christian now. He was raised Jewish. They were, they got to a point in their lives where they said, this works better for me. And that's great. I respect that. But the idea of raising kids religious almost feels like it's like it's not fair to the kid. Let the kid find what works for them. Yeah.
Yeah, because also there's so many things in the Bible too that like would make you fear even telling your parents that you don't believe in God.
Oh yeah.
Like just the disappointing your parents, and you're kind of just trapping them.
Yeah. No, I'm not a fan. Christianity is scientifically correct, says John Doe. You can write that, and I read it because it's very sensationalistic. Just like when I was in the store when I was a kid and I saw like Elvis is still alive on the National Enquirer. Of course, I looked at it, but you have to understand that all you wrote means nothing. If you can prove Christianity, or not Christianity, of course Christianity is scientifically correct because we know it exists. But if you're saying the stories in the Bible are scientifically correct, I would love some evidence of that. That would be fantastic. Okay. All right. Catholic school was cool, says Maddie DeMarco. We had social justice class and things like that. I've heard there are more conservative versions out there, though. Yeah, I don't know. I have no idea. I went to a Jewish day school for 2 years, and I despised it. And they hated me, too. The teachers hated me. I hated them. God, and I was like first and second grade. And I was just like, how can you hate a first grader? Well, it's possible. I promise you, it's possible. Okay. Let's move forward, though. There's old Candace Cameron, the old knucklehead. She is a total nut. She worries me a little bit. Let's talk about the Mandela effect. I told you we're going to get to some fun stuff before we get to the dark stuff. And there is some dark stuff happening today. But
I always like Mandela effect. I don't know if it's true or not, but I haven't heard of this one. Have you heard of this one? I just saw this today.
We've got a brand new Mandela effect. I'm going to ask you one question. Do you remember the laughing cow cream cheese?
I do.
So this picture of the cow.
Yes.
This is where I want you to start.
Okay, now, I have not watched this video. I don't know what he's going to say, but I remember this, and his mouth was open, and there was a red tongue at the bottom of his mouth. Do you remember this, Cal?
I remember the mouth being open. I don't really know if I remember a tongue.
Okay, well, let's see. I don't even know if that's what he's talking about, but I'm just trying to remember it. And since he's showing this part, I'm assuming it has something to do with the mouth, but I have no idea.
This is where I want you to start commenting. Does the cow have a gold nose ring or not?
Oh, I don't remember that.
Because this is what it looks like today. There is no gold nose ring.
No,
I figured they might have just changed the branding. So I went to the Laughing Cow's TikTok page. Somebody commented, "Yes, you had a nose ring, don't play with me." And their reply was, "Can't tell if the internet is gaslighting us or if we are gaslighting them at this point." Before coming to you to ask, I thought, let's go to Google. I typed in, did the Laughing Cow ever have a nose ring? No, the Laughing Cow cheese, as portrayed in this branding, has never had a nose ring. Yesterday when I was getting my coffee, I asked my coffee girl the question. I'm like, do you remember the Laughing Cow cheese? She's like, yeah, the red cow with the gold nose ring. So at this point, I'm turning it over to you guys. Because in my reality, she always had a nose ring. A gold one, to be exact.
I wonder, though, if he's misremembering it, right? I wonder if it's... there was a kid's book about a red bull, right?
How do you...
I wonder if that's the one. Let's see. Kid book... Ferdinand. Ferdinand. Yeah. I wonder if it was Ferdinand. I spelled it wrong, but nobody cares. Let's see if that's what he was probably remembering. No nose ring in Ferdinand. So I don't know. I have no idea. Some people in the chat say I remember the nose ring. That's not. So I don't know. I have no clue.
Josh said there was never a gold nose ring; it was an earring. And now that he says that, I feel like I can picture that too.
Yeah, it's. It
could be anything.
I would not put it past the world for us to be in the Mandela effect and have these things, but you know how science is. They explain everything away, and maybe it's true, maybe it's not. But you can't explain this. You can't fucking explain this, and that's good, because this is what's all right with the world. I love this.
It is an actual replication of my husband's penis with his ashes in it that I have slowly been spreading around the gathering, and he's here. It is an actual replication of my husband's penis with his ashes in it that I have slowly been spreading around the gathering, and
now... I like her shirt that says, "I love pegging men." I don't know if she's doing it with the... Can you imagine if she was pegging dudes with that replica of her husband's penis with his ashes in it? And now that it's not full up, the ashes are like, sloshing around in there. That's something. That's something.
Oh, that's love.
You think her husband was big, says Ricky? Her husband was big? Oh, I feel good about myself right now. You think that's big? Okay. I don't think that's, tiny, but I think that's average. It's like it's an average sized dick. Yeah. Sorry, pal. It's like, fuck. All right. Well, all right. Let's go to, I haven't even watched this. I like to save some of these to watch with you guys. Annie G, you old knucklehead. Remember that movie, Father of the Bride? I love that movie. It's super schmaltzy. Super schmaltzy, but I love to watch that movie. And the girl's name was Annie, not Anna. But you know what, Anna? I don't care, because now I'm thinking of Father of the Bride, and he dances with her at the end, and it breaks your fucking heart. It's like, someday when I'm is it awfully alone or all alone? I don't know, but it's a beautiful movie. Anna G, welcome to the Diet Soda Soldiers, buddy. We appreciate you being here. It's wonderful. Okay. At least she was beautiful to someone and had someone, says K-Nubs. I'm not making fun of the woman. I agree. I'm just saying it's funny that she's got her husband's dick as a transparent tube that his ashes are in, and she's like she's basically coming all over the festival, squirting out his ashes. That's all. I'm not no hate, no hate.
What he wanted.
I do like musicals. Musicals are great, man. I watched part of the Tonys the other night. Man, those were good. All right. I want to show you. I haven't watched this yet. These men actually believe this is flirting. It's disgusting. I have no idea what this is.
The girls only table. Yeah, I'm asking you to leave. I'm respectfully asking you to go to another table. There are plenty of tables. Like there's that one over there that you guys could go to. Because I'm not. Go away. It's true. Go. Begging on my knees. Go. It's just like it's our table. It's just.
I want those pretzels. That's what I'm paying attention to. Shut up, Jaffe. The Ozempic's clearly not working. Watch the show.
It's weird for you to just sit
Look good.
down with us. Like, go to the table where there's no people. Right there. You see that? Guys, there's no one over there. You should go sit there. I think you should go sit there. Look, it's crying. It has no people at its table. You guys need to go over there. That's good. We are both in relationships, and I'd love if you'd leave. Go away, please. Go. Do you want me to spill your Guinness on you? Because I will. Go. Go away. I'm asking you to fucking leave. Go. I guess we'll go.
They don't get it.
Table, we'll fucking go. Go. Leave. I'm asking you to fucking leave. Go. Get away. Witch. Go.
I mean, Matthew says it's staged. I don't know. I'm going to believe it's not staged. And even if it was staged, I think that's a pretty typical thing that happens, which is a lot of guys do not understand the difference between when a woman is being jokey and playful with you, which is what I think those guys thought was happening. And again, it's not the girl's fault, but it definitely makes you go, is it because they're saying witch and the table's crying and they're laughing and so the guys are like, oh, we're having fun? Or do you think they should have taken the hint and it was obvious?
I think they should have taken the hint, but I also think, Mish, thank you for the $50. We love you, Mish. Well, the door this time is choosing a movie, and that's 10 entries, which gets you your own wheel.
Yeah,
Mish. What movie
you get
do you
your
want
own wheel, Mish. Thank you, Mish, for all that support. We appreciate it, buddy, very, very, very much. Eternal says the girls are acting kind of immature. They want them to... go ahead, buddy.
I have a mix of emotions on this.
Me too.
Because I kind of feel like...
feeling emotion. Remember that when she sang that?
This is a place, which I've been to places like this where they've got the big long tables and you sit wherever, and people do just kind of sit. Like, it's normal for somebody to sit across from you if there's nobody there. I feel like they're kind of being rude, but also I kind of feel like it's weird that the guys didn't just get up and move. But then also, if I was the girls, I probably would have went to the empty table.
Okay, but wait a second, though. So,
privacy. I don't know.
Okay, well, I mean, I'm curious because there's a difference, right, between going... It's not the same if you go to a movie and you are by yourself and you sit down and there's, plenty of seats and then someone comes and sits right next to you. That's weird, right? Like, I would feel uncomfortable. Like, what are you doing? Is that just me?
At that point, I feel like I would get up and move.
Sure, and then I would feel. Then I would probably
even cause a.
I wouldn't either. But I would feel though that don't you think the nature of doing it is a weird choice? Like, who does that?
It is weird, but I mean, like when they it looked like there was a lot of other people in there. Maybe they just didn't see that empty table.
No. I'm saying the thing you're talking about. I want to get back to that. But the movie theater thing, where it's much more of an individual seat.
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah. Okay. But this I understand. I mean, you could be forgiven for going to this restaurant and thinking, oh, it's communal dining. It's supposed to be like, go sit with people, get to know people, and all that stuff. So I guess I could see that. Maybe it is just a cultural thing because they're clearly not from America. But I also do think on the flip side, guys, and they can only be blamed. I mean, they can obviously be always blamed for their behavior, or anyone can be blamed for their behavior. But there is a point where you have to kind of throw it to the movies and TV and go, and we've talked about this before, but there is a lot of, if you watch movies, the movies tell you to be a stalker, and the women will find it charming and delightful and That only works if the women already find you charming and delightful, and they're into you. If they're not into you, you're just a fucking stalker. And so best to not take that tactic. Have you ever had a guy that thought he was being romantic and flirty and fun, and it was just like, dude, I'm not playing. I don't like you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I've worked at a lot of bars, and that happened a lot.
But so, what was there a commonality between these guys that you could pick up on and go, oh, I knew when he walked in, I knew it was going to be this guy.
Oh, most of them would have on so much cologne, you could about tell which ones were going to do it. It was the ones that came in doused in cologne.
Okay. And they thought, and what would they, I'm just curious, what would they say to make that when you, like, how would the interaction go? I want to be the guy in the cologne. What would I say? Give me my opening line. Let's do this.
It would be a lot of bragging.
What's up, baby? I just parked my Ferrari and I just played a little bit of a bit of a concert with Prince.
And you're like, that's you. And you're like, that's nice. That's cool. And then they just keep. Oh, and then they'll sit. This is what they used to do. They would sit kind of far away, and then the little bit more you'd give them, like answering their questions, they'd slide closer and closer.
But wait. I thought you were working at the bar.
They'd slide closer. Huh?
Is this when you worked at the bar?
Yeah, working at the bar.
So where would they slide? Where would they slide close to? You were moving all around. What do you mean they'd slide closer to?
Yeah.
Who?
Well, I mean. Yeah, they would just keep sliding down the bar. Like, as you're moving, they keep sliding with you.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, and keep just wanting to talk, and you're like, I'm working. I need to focus on the millions of orders in my head.
Tobin says, I don't know. I don't mind if people sit next to me, my family. I don't like people feeling not welcome, so I try to be welcoming to all. I think it's different if you're with your family, and I think it's different if you're in a movie. Let me ask you this, Tobins. If you went to see a movie by yourself, and a lot of people hate seeing movies by themselves. I love going to the movies by myself. But if you went to the movie by yourself and there were plenty of seats available and somebody just came, not a family, not a kid that you're like, oh, I'm scared. Oh, sit with me, little kid. But just like some dude or some lady just sits down at the chair next to you. Would you not, Tobins, think that's a little unusual, a little worrying? Slice of pie on the wheel, says Warped Eye. Appreciate it, buddy. Travis, before you go, I have to know. First off, did we ever get a movie from Mish that he wanted on the wheel?
No, I've been asking Mish, and I don't think he sees it.
Okay.
Mish, let us know a movie, please, Mish. I love you, Mish.
And how many movies do we have on the other wheel that it's going to go head to head?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We need 3 more movies.
Including Pie from Warped Eye? Okay.
Yeah, twice.
But Travis, my question is, he says, bye, you guys. I'm going to go listen to 90s music now. This is the perfect time for an exit survey. What is it that causes you to say, I'm done with this show, and now I'm moving on? I would love to know that. I'm not offended by it, but we always want to make the show better, and this is a perfect in the wild scenario where I can know that. Okay, let's move on, though. And yes, we are $3 away from deciding what movie is going to be shown. You see this woman masturbating at the beach. This is kind of an old clip. But have you seen this one?
I want to see this one.
I think maybe. I
have, yeah.
If this, yeah.
She basically just says, look, man, I was sitting in the water and I put a vibrator between my legs, but it was covered by a towel in the water. And then she said, so what's the problem? And, well, a family saw you and they called you and were arresting you for indecent exposure. And she's like, but I didn't expose anything. She went to jail, I assume.
Yeah, I mean, after that.
Oh, no. Did she kill herself?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because of this clip?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, no. What?
Her family said she already had some problems, and then after that happened, she just spiraled.
But wait a minute. Yeah. Who was even filming it then? How was it? Who filmed this and released it? Why this? Who would allow?
The police. This was the police cam.
Well, why would they release this?
They do that.
It's public record. You have to have this available.
Oh my God. I had no idea. Oh, shut up, Kat.
She got a lot of shit for it online when this came out.
I don't even, again, that shit pisses me off to no end. Oh no, she was masturbating. Okay.
Hey, even the guy that was driving around with his dick out going through the bikini coffee drive-through,
Yeah.
and he ended up killing himself
He also could, yeah,
afterwards.
kill
Like, I
himself.
still, like, I felt so bad. Like,
Oh
he
my
did a dumb
God.
thing. But it didn't
Okay.
have to be like that.
No,
It's
of
sad.
people are so. I hate people. I love humanity. I hate people. I'm just like, oh, we're an awful. Let me ask you this. I have a question. Now, this is going to sound terrible, but I'm going to ask it, and it's going to sound terrible. But I was thinking about this when I was walking the dog today, and I was like, man, it's been such a shit day. I was thinking about this idea that, maybe it's all drama. Maybe it is the simulation that we're in, because I don't want to say it because I don't want to jinx myself or anything. But I look back and I know people that I went to high school with, for example, that have lost a child, right? Or I don't know anyone who's died in a plane crash or anything, but I've never had those things happen to me, right? We've all had stuff happen to us that sucks, but and it almost makes me wonder, oh, this is terrible to say, but I'm just going to ask it. Do you ever wonder if, are those people real, or are they NPCs to spice the thing? Like, do you know anyone that's actually gone through that and they're real people? Like, have you gone through that and it's just, I've gotten really lucky? Or have you ever thought about that?
I've had lots of friends die in crazy ways and stuff. Like, I had a really good friend back in 2012, I think. He got hit by a car. He just got hit by a car. Just walking down the road.
And he was...
And it was a hit and run.
But you think he was a real guy? Like, you don't ever look at it and go...
He was one of the realest and most tortured souls I've ever known in my life.
Okay.
Like, he was just like... But it wasn't like he jumped. It was a hit and run. They ended up finding the guy later, and the guy was drunk or something. But he was... If I had to pick 5 people to say that they've been real that I've known in my life, he would be one of them.
Okay, so it's never entered your mind that a lot of... Because, it's a very cliche thing to say. I never thought it would happen to me, right? Because most people never think anything like that's going to happen to them.
Yeah.
So it never has entered your mind that it's like, it doesn't happen to you. It's meant to kind of navigate you and keep you on certain paths. That's not a thought you've ever entertained, because you've lived with enough real experience that that thought doesn't make any sense. Is that correct?
Yeah. I feel like that. The more stuff I've experienced in life, that's what's keeping me from going out as much. I don't go out like I used to. I used to go out all the time. I don't go out at all now. And it's because I know something could happen. Like, I think about it too much now.
Yeah.
I mean, that's another good reason why you probably don't read the fucking news then, because that would send you over the goddamn edge. I get that.
Yeah,
Warped
exactly.
Eye says, I knew somebody that got killed at work. He was inside an industrial concrete mixer cleaning it, and somebody turned it on.
Oh my God, that's awful.
Eternal says, I think it's a coping mechanism, believing it won't happen to you or a loved one. Yeah. No, I mean, there is a psychological term, actually, for a healthy evolutionary psychological tactic where I don't know what the term is, but I saw a documentary on it where, like, if you actually really looked at the data of things that we do every day, you would never function. You would never get in a car. You would never fucking get in a goddamn car.
Yep.
But Travis says, I'm going to say something, and then he didn't say anything. I understand. Okay. Well, did Mish give us a movie? He's text tracking it. We'll see.
Mish gave us a movie.
What did he give us?
Kill List from 2011.
Kill List? What is that? I've never heard of it.
I don't know. It's a Mish pick, so it's a good pick.
Yeah,
Kill
Mish
List.
has good taste.
8 months after a disastrous job in Kiev left him physically and mentally scarred, ex-soldier turned killer Jay is pressured into taking a new assignment. Okay. Let's get on the list. Here we go. I'm high, says Thrill. This got heavy. Well, look, we're now steering into some of the fucking darker waters of the show. We'll pull out at the end and show you some crazy shit. But today it's been a really bad fucking day. And I would like to, I don't know. I don't know if I want to talk about it in depth, but I want to just bring these things up and just see what kind of conversation it generates. I know somebody said they wanted to call in when we get to the senator conversation, but first let's talk about, now I don't know if anything has happened since we've been live, but as you may know, Israel launched preemptive strikes on Iran, on their nuke sites and military targets. This is pretty insane because they said that where did it go? It said that Iran was prepping a strike on Israel that would have hit them from every single border, all 5 borders of Israel. And they're also days away from being able to have 15 nukes, which good and well, the minute they have one, they're walking into Israel and pulling the trigger. At least that's sort of the rhetoric that they've been saying. Yeah. So I don't know. Does anyone know, since we've been live, I know there was a bunch of missiles flying and Iran was kind of heading up to launch missiles into Israel. Natanz nuke facility has been struck. Mossad leads series of secret. Apparently they were working with Hezbollah and Hamas. Let's see. Tel Aviv moves hospital underground. Israel attacks Operation Rising Lion, retaliation fear. Let me just see if there's any footage of what's going on. But so that's happening. And again, this is not Wayne B. What are you talking? Wayne B. literally comes in and says it sounds like a bunch of Israel bullshit. Okay. I mean, look. Do I put it past Israel or America to lie and use propaganda? Of course not. But what, you think they just decided to attack Iran for no reason when Iran, out of anyone they could attack, it's not Gaza. Iran can kill a lot of people in Israel. And if America is found to have been engaged with these guys, which they probably were, they're not going to be too happy with us either. Doesn't mean we can't defend ourselves against Iran. But I don't think this is just like, yeah, let's make some fucking story up. But, well, again, you can roll your eyes. Matty DeMarco says anticipatory self-defense, and he rolls his eyes. Like October 7th? I mean, look, I'm opposed to what went down in Gaza and what is still going down in Gaza. But the idea that Israel is like, this is stupid that they're going to have an attack based on data when 2 years ago, what happened. So I don't know how you could say it that way. Jaffe is a huge Israeli simp. He said Israel has a right to defend itself, talking about killing kids. But the thing is, though, and this is kind of one of the things that, and first off, Joey Bag of Donuts, welcome to Diet Soda Soldiers, buddy. It is great to have you here. Thank you, buddy. We love you being part of the community and being here for tonight. I'm offended by what you're saying, Electric Angel, not because of what you're saying about Israel, but because it reflects somebody that is willing to speak about me that doesn't actually have any interest in knowing the facts. I think Netanyahu is a war criminal. I think if you attack Gaza the way they did, they have a right to defend themselves. 100%. But if you attack Gaza the way he did, it is such a disproportionate sense of retaliation that people who have the upper hand, and he and his country have the upper hand, should be better. Even though it's hard and maybe even impossible to do what you want, when you are the bigger guy on the playground, you don't do what they did. That doesn't mean they should not defend themselves and strike back for October 7th, but good God, the idea that the way, I'm so sorry that you, I don't know where you got the idea that I am a simp to Israel. It's ridiculous to me, but I still think they have a right to a state just like the Palestinians do. All right. Well, anyway, let's move forward. But right now, all we know is Israel has launched strikes on Iran's nuclear program. So if it does turn out, I mean, this is, I kicked this off at the start because of the bad news section, because, and I don't, let me ask you this, Tech, because you have a different perspective on history.
I do.
everybody probably thinks that at least a handful of times in their life, the world is burning. And we're on the edge of apocalypse, right? Certainly the Cuban Missile Crisis probably was the closest we came after World War II, but and then there's probably plenty of things we don't know about. You ever think about the shit they don't tell us? We could have come this close 1,000 times to nukes, right?
Yes.
But the question becomes on this stuff, when you look at what's happening in Israel and Iran and Gaza, when you look at what's happening in America with all these protests and ICE and whatnot, when you look at what's happening even today with the senator, which I have a very different view of what he did than a lot of the leftists seem to have, which is rare. Is this worse than it's ever been in your lifetime? Because this seems pretty fucking dark these days.
I was 4 years old for the War on Terror, right?
Okay.
I was what, 9 during the Great Recession, right? I was 15 during fucking 2012. The world's gonna end. It was like such a bought into conspiracy. Gen Z, like the existence of Gen Z, has all been like, hey, everything's already the end. Everything can happen anytime. You never know. I've not had a point of peace. I thought, I was like,
and you guys had
2018.
You guys had the school shootings too, right? You had all that shit.
Yeah, we had the school shootings. In 2018, I was like, oh my God, it's such a peaceful year. COVID. And I was like, what the fuck? What the fuck is happening? Everything has always been this, like, consideration of my country might go to some ultimate war. People might come into my country. But I'll say, even from that perspective, as an American growing up in America, not as bad as like living in the Middle East. Holy shit, they had it terrible. I wanted to address John Doe saying they are invaders, for fuck's sake. What the fuck is wrong with you? But yeah, I get the Palestinians should not have gone into Israel. I get it. You're saying that the Palestinians are invaders. Like, I get that.
I don't know what his perspective is. I don't know when he says they are invaders and doesn't.
Yeah, he's talking about the Palestinians.
He doesn't represent the pronoun. I don't know who he's talking about.
He's the Palestinians. I'm guaranteeing. Anyways, my take on this global conflict thing is, yes, it is scary. My generation has always been scared of like some ultimate thing happening, and then with my personal experience with like the Department of Homeland Security, I am privy to some information that is more terrifying, I guess you could say. It makes things seem so close to the edge.
But but let me ask about that, because I'm not saying you're full of shit, but I'm saying that it seems that you would be forgiven, or someone would be forgiven for calling you out for being full of shit based on what you just said. Because I understand that you took a paycheck from the Department of Homeland Security and you flew drones around and you saw some awful stuff at the border. But that doesn't make you privy to classified data about the end of the world. And if it did, you sure as shit wouldn't be saying it now on a fucking stream.
So I have two specializations when it came to Department of Homeland Security. And the first one was search and rescue operations, which is what I ended up doing like professionally. The second one was the National Incident Command System, which is managing like, police, fire, medical response to a man-made or natural disaster. And that includes everything from like an earthquake hit a hospital, and now you have like an unshielded X-ray machine that's left powered on. How to fix that, all the way to there's been a international incident, and now you have to take a highly populated area and get them to like certain key points to like put them in safety. And managing that. So like working with FEMA and all that. It's not like it's super secret stuff that I'm mentioning. It's stuff you can go onto. Anyone listening,
tell me one.
Yeah, it's like you can go onto FEMA's website right now, and you can apply to get like personal training from them, or like some training course they have online. It costs like $25 to get registered, and they'll tell you like, the U.S. has these facilities that are already like built up. They're probably like retired Walmarts that didn't work; they failed. Government buys them up, and it's like a stationing area for the populace. And then when you like look into how many of those there are, you're like, oh, they're paying. It's on the bill to be ready for this today.
And there's a lot of tunnels underground those Walmarts that they've built since then, which is there's a whole map, is my understanding, of underneath these Walmarts, there are these tunnel systems that connect a lot of these. So what are the Walmarts for? Is it if there's a medical like COVID but times 1,000, it's where the sick people go to be quarantined, or what?
The very basic one is like,
I mean, obviously they're going to get great deals at Walmart, and that's a good thing. But after that,
funny.
is it? Well, you know,
the very basic usage cases for these are like FEMA responding to an incident where there was an earthquake or a hurricane and having them all like sheltered up in one place. But beyond that, if there's a situation of greater public panic, like what happened in Vegas back in 2017.
What was that? The shooting?
The shooting at the country
Mandalay Bay. Yeah.
Yeah.
See, I know somebody's sister who died in that, but I don't think she's an NPC. But I don't know. But anyway, continue, please.
If it had gotten more extreme, Vegas would have escalated their situation alertness to a position where it's like, now we're evacuating people. Right, at least for like this area in particular, we're putting them somewhere else, somewhere that's already been planned out. It's been paid for the last like 2 decades. That is going unused until now. They constantly maintain with like fresh resources like water and food and all this. Like,
but right, so
if your government, if your government is spending,
though, you have said though that we have come really close, and you know that. So what are you talking about?
Well. Like what I can say is just like what is publicly available, which is if the U.S. for 20 years, since like 2005, maybe a little earlier, has been spending millions of dollars to maintain these emergency shelter situations for its populace across the entire fucking country almost, and they haven't needed to use it yet, but they still think this is a very viable like cost. Like this is a totally verifiably justified cost to do. The government is positioned to be ready for it, which is that should be concerning, right?
Well, I'm glad they're positioned, I guess. So are you saying what, they're worried about a fucking nuke attack and this is where people can go if they survive it? Is that the idea?
There's just always been a concern since the early 2000s, maybe late 90s, that if we want to save at least 60% of the U.S. population, we're going to be ready for it.
All right.
And
well, yeah. So it's so you're saying though the bigger thing though is your generation is you've always had this sense of dread and fear over you.
Yeah, and then my upbringing doesn't really help. Like, my dad left the United States in '99 when I was like 2 years old because he's like, Y2K is gonna destroy everything, and I grew up in a jungle in Mexico for like a couple of years.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like, yeah.
Okay. Now, all this is kind of related, but there's all the shit going on with the protesters and everything, and I will say, I'm going to get political. I don't care. Because I take offense. I take great offense to this kind of tough guy rhetoric that we get from Trump and his boys. Okay. This is a police officer. Okay. And he is basically saying, I think he was talking about, he's not in LA. I think he's in Florida. And he's saying that because these protests are sort of spreading, right? And whether or not the protests are simply peaceful protest or they become riots, depends on who you ask, whatever. It's and have the riots been caused by Trump's boys kind of stirring it up so he can have a reason to keep doing this shit? Seems like it, at least in a lot of cases, but obviously not all. Okay, fine, whatever. It's not the point. The point is the rhetoric from Trump, from all of these people. When you've got the goddamn head of the police in Florida, the sheriff, saying that if you throw a brick at a cop, your family can find you in the morgue. In other words, we will kill you. Okay? That doesn't mean he's wrong. That doesn't mean the policy is wrong. If you attack a cop with something that looks like deadly force, I don't think most people would disagree that that cop has a right to defend his life, and that may end up with you dead. But why in the world of all of this fucking tough guy rhetoric, all it does is piss people off, make people scared. It reminds me of the Trump rallies when he first ran for president, and he was like, back in my day, that guy would have been carried out of here on a stretcher, and everybody was cheering and shit. Why are these people in MAGA so mad and angry and they just want to fight people? Like, what the fuck is going on, and why are their leaders perpetuating this and feeding into this? I'm very curious, and I'm very bothered by it. Go ahead, Tech.
Are you not familiar with like Florida and law enforcement? Because
I grew up in Alabama.
They are. No, I mean, like, publicly, like, socially, they put out so many statements that are like very divisive.
Okay,
like,
it's a bad idea.
There's a sheriff's in one of the Florida counties that was like, yeah, if your husband's beating you, shoot him. Someone's breaking into your house, shoot him.
Okay,
we'll pick up the body. Do it.
Okay, that's
someone wants to throw rocks at you, shoot him.
Okay, like, I think these are very different things. If somebody's telling you to defend your life,
it's the same thing. They're saying like, you're gonna throw a rock at my officer, we're gonna shoot you.
Okay, and
I don't agree with it.
Here's the difference, though. Here's the difference between when Trump says something like that or the head of police says something like that. You give up the right to be a normal citizen and speak normally about things like that. Just like you've been a manager over people at companies, right? You give up the right when you're a manager. If you're scared that your game's going to get canceled, for example, you don't walk around the development team's floor and talk about how scared you are, because you are a leader. Your job is to unite and get the job done. So I understand that the logic of what he's saying, which is if you attack our officers with anything that looks like deadly force, we will respond in a similar way. But is that really the rhetoric that should be coming out of? Here's the governor of Florida right here. Watch this. It's ridiculous. It's a 27-second clip. Listen to this.
And we also have a policy that if you're driving on one of those streets and a mob comes and surrounds your vehicle and threatens you, you have a right to flee for your safety. And so if you drive off and you hit one of these people, that's their fault for impinging on you. You don't have to sit there and just be a sitting duck and let the mob grab you out of your car and drag you through the streets. You have a right to defend yourself in Florida.
Yeah, and nobody is saying you don't have a right to defend yourself if a mob is trying to drag you out of the car. But do you think this could have been communicated maybe in a way that wasn't so inflammatory, especially given that 3 nights ago in Los Angeles at the riots, there was a guy in a fucking minivan. Did you guys see this? The guy that started doing reverse donuts trying to hit people? And it's like, now, if all that guy had to do was say, well, I was listening to the governor and I felt scared, and so I was hitting people. It's like, why are these people so fucking stupid? Right. Ravno says he literally just dog whistled driving over protesters. What's hard about communicating better? What's hard about saying, look, it's going to be a rough weekend if you're out in the streets. There may be cases where you feel afraid, and I want to let you know, use your best judgment. If you actually think you need self-defense, then there are laws for that. Take care of yourself and your family. But also don't fly off the fucking handle just because you're getting a little jittery because you don't know what's going on. Why is that? Why can't that be the message? I don't understand. And I don't understand how people in America are okay with this. Willie says crystal clear communication to me. Well, it's not clear and concise. It's inflammatory. Like the Kyle Rittenhouse kid. Well, I was just defending myself. Cameron says, David, these people are fascist. You expect too much from them. I don't think they think they're fascist. I don't think they think of them as that way. And I think if you really could sit down with them and at least have a conversation with some of them, and they realize what they were doing, there would be a problem with how they act. What do you mean I'm reading into it? What do you mean I'm reading into it? But here's what I'll tell you for you folks on the right. Now, I may have missed something other than the fact that reporter on screen right is gorgeous and I'm going to marry her. Is that this is when the senator today, I think from California, was dragged out and detained and handcuffed and all that. And the left is losing their shit over this. And I don't really know what the problem is. I don't like the way it was handled. But what am I missing here? How many times have we seen people interrupt proceedings And then the security is like, okay, you're being disruptive. We're going to take you out of here because while you have a right to free speech, you know, you can't just come in and disrupt everything. That's kind of, we have, you know, the building is, I don't know if it was a public space or not. So maybe that was the problem. But here, just watch this clip and tell me what you think about this.
During this press conference, Senator Alex Padilla, I mean,
this was this
from
morning.
Mayors to senators to members of Congress, clearly they've been out protesting these troops there on the streets. But this was the first time we actually saw one of the senators physically removed from a press conference there as the DHS secretary was speaking. Let's just take a look at that moment. And Jacqueline, I'll take it to you.
Thank you to every single person that has been able to do this. Also, I want to talk specifically to the rioters and to the politicians in Los Angeles. I also want to talk about specifically.
Guess you can.
And again, I mean, the fact that he's a senator really shouldn't matter. I mean, if there is a policy. Let me play this too real quick.
Hands on your back.
If you don't my hands, go ahead, put behind my back.
All right, cool. One hand, lay flat, lay flat.
Other hand, sir. Other hand.
So what am I? Okay, well, Zeke. Okay, Zeke says dude was being a disruptive ass, right? Okay, so wait a minute. Eternal says, see, this is what I'm saying. I appreciate the information. So, Eternal says Padilla was invited in to attend the meeting and he wanted to ask a question. So if that's the case, then there is a real problem. If it turns out, is the way they treat him this, how do you think they will treat Joe on the street? I don't think these guys knew he was a senator. But I'm just trying to understand why this is horrifically offensive. But we've seen this happen all over America in town halls when a senator is speaking and somebody stands up and they disrupt it. And after a while, they just go, get him out of here, get him out of here. And this guy wasn't arrested. He was detained. He was immediately released. Do you think the left is overreacting, or what am I missing here?
I have no idea.
Tech?
I don't know.
So when it comes to like public proceedings like this, depending on, again, security threat levels, if it's about the protests that there have been incidents of violence already, right? There's been
doesn't matter though.
Reporting. Well, no, this does matter, right?
Okay.
When the protests have incidents of violence and people have been making calls like, I will make a threat on the ICE building, I will go after like this person from DHS. They probably had a heightened sense of security. And so when he approached the stand, when it wasn't like a question segment, right? When he started yelling during a non-question segment, they probably were given like strict instructions that if someone starts to get loud and starts to approach, like get them out of there, right? Search them, get them out of there. No, doesn't matter who it is.
Okay, but is that legal, or is that a violation of his First Amendment right, given that this was on public property, is my question.
It is legal because that area is not just available to, it seems like the entire public. Like someone said right now, he was invited, right? So that means that you had to have been given an extra level of like permission to enter that area, right? So, because it's a private meeting with an invitation, they can set the rules on how they want to engage with that meeting. And because it's a person speaking from DHS...
I don't know if just because it's your meeting, you can violate someone's freedom of speech in a public building.
There is no... But it's a public building. It does not give you access to every room in the public building. The jail is a public building, right? You can't go into the cells without someone escorting you or giving you access to it.
I know you can't go into the cells, but I would argue that they are maybe not on public property at that point.
It is still public property. There are levels of restriction and access that the buildings have. That's why you're able to like walk into a town hall and start filming whatever you want, because it is a public space with public access, right? But you can't just walk into someone's office if it's behind a locked door, because that is now restricted.
While a jail may be located on public property, access is restricted for security, for safety reasons. Jails are not open to the public. Okay, so then when we go to this, Padilla's actions. Senator Padilla attempted to question Secretary Nemo during a conference, which was focused on this, that, or the other. Justification for his removal. Department of Homeland Security spokesman Tricia blah 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 stated he interrupted the event, did not identify himself or wear his security pin, and was perceived as a potential threat. Deputy Director of FBI Dan blah blah added he physically resisted law enforcement. His account, he maintained that he was there exercising his official congressional oversight duties and was peacefully listening before he attempted to ask a question. Legality of removal. While the disruption itself may not have been illegal, his forceful removal and handcuffing by agents raised concerns, particularly amongst Democrats. Some argue that such actions could be seen as an abuse of authority and an assault on the rule of law. Noam and her agency criticized his interruption as inappropriate and disrespectful. Who gives a shit about that? However, others defended his right to ask questions of government officials. She stated that her and Padilla had a productive conversation afterwards. Whether his actions were legal or not is a matter of interpretation, right? So, I honestly don't think that that this is as bad as the Democrats are making it out to be. I think it's bad. I think it's bad in the sense that these people are fucking thugs. And I don't like it. And I also don't like how the internet and this chat at times in particular seems to be okay with it. I don't know why so many of you guys in the goddamn chat, not so many, but some of you in the goddamn chat are so comfortable allowing cops to just be assholes and beat people up and just be jerks. They have a right to do their job. They have a right to detain someone if they've broken the law or they think they've broken the law or whatever. But why are you guys so fucking quick to just give everything over to authority figures who don't have your best interest at heart? Where does this come from? Bunny, forget politics for a moment.
I agree with you on
this goes back to the playground, right? Where does it come from where a human feels like, is it that they're scared and they just want to be protected at all costs, even if it means giving up a sense of autonomy, or what is that?
I don't know. I agree. I think cops have too much power. I think we give them too much freedom, and they aren't helpful most of the time. Like, they're not fucking helpful.
Okay.
I think there has to be an understanding that, particularly with this special interest with society right now, the whole ICE issue, that this place is a place of interest for anyone that wanted to enact like an act of violence in protest. I'm not saying most protesters are violent. I'm not even saying like a significant portion of them are. I'm saying there is a reasonable expectation that this would be a targeted area for violence. And with this saying that the guy wasn't wearing his security pin, he wasn't identifying himself, and he wasn't asking questions during the questions and answers like segment. He's just like, I'm going to start asking questions now as someone who's in the room with no markers. It seems reasonable to detain him and search him for weapons, explosives, what have you. And it seems like he wasn't arrested. He was just detained to be checked. And then later he's like, yeah, you're good. And then he got to ask those questions anyways at the end of the day.
No, I'm saying in general though, where does this, like I showed this clip earlier today, and I'm not going to belabor the point because it was on the morning show, but I know you weren't here for it, Tech, but I would like to get your opinion, especially given that a lot of the chat didn't seem to see a problem with this. Woman shot pellet. No, I don't know what she was shot. Woman shot, cops riot, crossing street. I don't fucking know. You saw this, Bunny?
Yeah, I didn't like this.
I didn't like it either. But I was surprised how many people in the chat were like, well, she should have fucking listened to the cops. And it's like, well, she did listen to the cops, and she was terrified and she didn't know what was going on. And these are the fucking cops, and there's a way to fucking handle it. And it wasn't this, in my opinion.
They're telling her to move, but that's a public sidewalk.
Oh, yeah.
They're telling her to move. Watch, if they shoot her.
And then she's
not doing anything. Come on, we're moving.
I mean, thank God she wasn't pregnant, right? But regardless, though, okay?
I hate them.
Right.
You're missing a key detail. She reports in the same video that she lives right there.
I'm not missing a key detail. We talked about that earlier.
Probably trying to figure out.
Right. So I want
get there.
Exactly. Ask yourself, and there's somebody you and I both know, Tech, who maybe is a little spacey sometimes. Okay. Let's assume that person was just wandering around trying to get home and happened upon this situation, right? When they tell her to stop after she kind of takes a beat and goes, wait, what is going on? She stops. She is no threat to them. There are 6 or 7 big dudes with military gear and armor. And now she stops right here. She's like, wait, what? I'm trying to get over there. Boom, they shoot her. Okay? Now, the idea that bothers me is, why in the fuck do we have people in this chat defending this? And again, I don't want to talk about this clip specifically unless you guys want to. I'm more fascinated by the psychology of why somebody is okay with this. This could be your mom, your daughter, your sister, your friend, could be you.
Yeah.
What
the person could be hearing impaired. I mean, that's why they're so quick to shoot at somebody, and the person truly may not even hear them.
Or
you could be
they're
shooting
probably
a deaf
in
person.
shock. They're probably going, oh my God, I live there, and suddenly there's 6, 7, 8 big cops with guns aimed at me. Wait, I'm supposed to just be logical right now? Don't they know that the people that they're dealing with are going to respond that way? And aren't they trained? Like, what they should have done was go, okay, we get you're scared. We understand. Yeah. We understand you're saying you live there. Here's what we can do for you. And then that's what I was raised to think cops were there to protect and to serve.
Exactly. That's
Instead,
what I meant earlier when I said they're supposed to be helpful. Somebody in the chat was like, they're not here to be helpful. They're here to serve and protect, and I feel like being helpful is a part of that. So,
what do you think, Tech? I agree with you, Bunny. What do you think, Tech?
If the law enforcement officers had a directive to close off the street for everybody and anybody because there was like an incident happening behind them.
Sure.
And they said, hey, come back here later. I can't really hear what the officers are saying, but if the dialogue was, you cannot come here, you cannot approach, this is blocked off right now.
Right.
They aren't using military equipment, they're using crowd control equipment. Personally, it's my perception of it.
But don't you think they should have, one of these guys should have walked over to her, this little 104-pound woman, and gone, let me explain what's going on.
The policy is not to break formation.
You know what? Then the policy needs to fucking change then.
It does, yeah. And I don't agree with shooting her with a rubber bullet. I think that's fucking appalling. Because she maintained a safe distance. She wasn't yelling at them. She wasn't like moving her hands violently.
Nothing.
She was just standing there trying to talk to them about something, and then they were like, nope, boom. It could be that they had someone above them that said, if anyone gets within this distance of you and you tell them to leave and they don't leave after this amount of time,
sure.
Fire
so
the
what
shot.
Does it say about the person that follows that order then? I would say they're a piece of shit.
They don't want to lose their job. They don't want to put their family out of work.
Sorry. Be a fucking man, a real man. If you're a person, not to be a man, but in this case they were all men. There are some things that you should be willing to stand up for. Shooting a little 105-pound 20-year-old trying to get home to her apartment who is no threat is probably one of those things. And if not, you should get a different fucking job. I'm sorry, these fuckers should be in jail.
The size of a person no longer plays a factor when like guns are involved.
She didn't have a gun.
I know she didn't have a gun, but you don't treat everyone as like, oh, no one has guns. You treat everyone as they might have a gun.
Okay, but then why not just shoot everybody all the time then? Well, I guess they are.
They did. Yeah, it's like, hey, if they get this close and they're not leaving by this time,
is that
bullet.
And that's acceptable to you? You treat everyone, even though so don't. It is.
I'm not going to discriminate against a woman.
It is no longer in the training, whether you're a woman or not, of the police to go, I need to assess the threat level. If it's anybody, they could have a gun, even if they're not reaching, even if I don't see an imprint under their shirt, even if they haven't pulled out a knife. If she's just standing there, you're saying you agree with the fact that assess the threat level before you take an action. You're glad that's off the playbook. Everybody's a criminal with a gun, and shoot first, ask questions later, right? That's what you're saying.
if the city enacted a curfew or they had this like situation set up where like that is the policy, if that's the policy. If you don't like it, like that's a thing you take up to your lawmakers.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of it, but like there is justification for why it's acted. I'm not going to blame the officer and be like, that guy should be fucking tarred and feathered. No, like he might be like 20 years into the job.
No, you're right. The Nazis were just following orders. I mean, why blame them? Why
compare these guys to Nazis and not be like,
because it's
our system is fucked up. It's not like discrimination against like a race.
What you're saying is that I was just following orders justifies morally bankrupt actions. At which point you could justify anything, couldn't you?
Okay, I don't personally think that engaging in crowd control tactics, it was what was the term you used? Morally
bankrupt when you shoot an innocent, unarmed woman who clearly is scared and tiny, and you're surrounded by 8 of your brothers.
Good question. If it was like a 6'8" dude at 240 pounds, would you have the same take, or you'd be like, you should have backed away?
I would have a different take, but it would still be the same take, which is the job should still be to de-escalate and read the situation. That guy doesn't deserve to be shot either. But if you're telling me a cop,
let's not argue. Okay,
answer your question.
I do. You said the important part before.
No, it's not important.
You did answer it.
Let me finish. If the cop said I was scared for my life and that's why I fired because he was a big fucking dude, I would go, okay, that can sometimes be a valid reason for your actions in those cases. That won't be able to be applied to this situation, and so it is different. But continue.
Okay, so again, the point of this is stop focusing so much on the identity of the issue here, like the victim and who's involved. You're upset about the policy, right? I don't care if it's a woman. I don't care if it's a guy. I don't care if it's like a fucking cow, right? The issue of the policy is if someone doesn't look like they're being violent, they're trying to have a conversation, don't shoot them with the rubber bullet, right? That's the main issue.
That is the main issue, yes.
Yeah, so let's stop talking about, well, she's like a dainty little woman. Anyone can be an aggressor.
But you can't extract that from this because that...
You can.
Let me finish. You can't extract that from this only because that dichotomy is what shines such a spotlight on how wrong this is. I agree with you that it could have been Andre the Giant, and he still doesn't deserve to get shot if he's complying and he just looks like he's listening.
And you can extract it because the point of this is.
But what I'm saying is, if you see it painted in such a black and white way like this, and you still don't have a problem with it, with the policy, which yes, you're right, should be applied to everyone. But when it's presented this way, it's hard to argue that it shouldn't. That's where I say morally bankrupt.
No, okay, because the reason why you want to extract it is because I don't think you would be for the police having a policy that says, if someone approaches you and they're here for this time, like then and they don't leave when you tell them to leave, then use the rubber bullet. But in cases where it is exactly a woman who's like 5'3" and 130 pounds or less, you wouldn't want some distinguishing factors on identity about how you're enforcing law.
That's right, and I'm not asking for that.
Which is why, the important thing is, I hate the policy. The policy is stupid.
The policy is they are not a threat. She wasn't continuing to approach. What they should have done is gone over to her then and detained her. Put her in handcuffs, put her in a car, and say, I know you're scared. You didn't really do anything wrong other than right now this space is not what you think it is. It's not what you're used to. And so we just need, for everyone's safety, to get you out of this place. Okay? That's the way you fucking handle it. You don't shoot her.
I wish it was. Yeah, I wish it was. We also don't have any additional context. Like, if the woman... because
what, her eyes glowing?
I can tell you what the additional context could have been, right? Obviously, there's people filming the incident. Right, there was obviously people that were already there. There could have been, and these are assumptions, right? But there could have been already made aggressive threats at these police officers that are standing there from the crowd that was filming.
So what?
And there could have been an escalated level of security for that area, and the person in charge of that zone, that scene, could have said, "Hey, we've already heard people saying that, shoot them, motherfuckers. Fuck the police." There could have already been that. So anyone who approaches past that is going to be seen as an elevated level of threat.
And that policy is a problem as well, because if we can't hire smart enough people that are able to look at a situation and go, yes, we're in a heated environment, and yes, there have been some people that have said some really inflammatory shit, but this woman, I'm going to judge her on her actions. because that's how people should be policed.
You don't want individual thinkers in your law enforcement.
Yeah,
want
you
them
do.
No, they're not there to interpret the law, right? They're there to enforce the law.
I-
They're not going to be my judge. If they, let's say there's a cop there that interprets the law that says like, oh, I'm a free thinker, and I know that you like turned at the red light a little faster than you should, and I'm going to say that was like a public threat to like someone on the sidewalk, so I engage in deadly force because that's my interpretation. Fuck no.
I'm not.
You get someone who's going to listen to the law by the letter, and
Okay,
I want the policies to
but wait a
change.
minute.
I don't
Well,
want them
right.
to think about it on their own.
Right. Well, I can understand that, and I can deal with that. But if the policies don't change, and they don't, and I don't mean, and they don't like they should and they better. I mean, they don't change. They never change. At which point, if you go into this job and you know those policies are what they are, I suggest you should be a better human, a moral person, and go, this is unacceptable. And they don't do it. And we should be furious about it. I am absolutely furious about it. And I'll tell you what, as much as I think it's wrong that the fucking Marines are coming in, at least they have experience going over to Middle Eastern cities and going, okay, we have to figure out how to take down Al-Qaeda and the bad guys, and we're going to be looked at as bad guys. But there is training that goes into how do we deal with the civilian population in these cities that are scared out of their fucking minds. I don't get the sense the LAPD is thinking about any of that.
I do want to point out a very important chat from Ravino says, guys and gals, why is Tech an expert on the police and the military despite being raised in a quote-unquote Mexican jungle? I was there for like 2 years, right? And then I have a background with like the federal government. So like the use of force continuum is like ingrained in me, right? Like that's like always going to be there. Let's talk about ghosts and vampires, says Willie Farnsworth.
Hang on, Blake.
What if she was a vampire, Jaffe, and that was a garlic shot to prove it?
I still would be opposed to it. Blake, hello, Blake. Good to see you as always, buddy. 48 months. Hey, where were you guys during the mass deportations during the previous administrations? Did you sleep at night or were your lives ruined? For the lives ruined. This is the problem, Blake, that I have with the left does it as well, but the right does it a lot more, which is you guys are under the impression, and maybe it's because the right does a better job in pulling their people into more of a cult-like fervor for their leadership. If Joe Biden broke the fucking law, and he may have, throw his ass in jail. Joe Biden should not have been able to pardon his fucking son either.
Yeah, you should.
I think just like there's the 25th Amendment, like when it's like the president has to step down because he's not capable, I don't think a president should be allowed to pardon family members. I think a president, if they're curious about that, there should be an independent counsel and go, I really want you to look at my son's case because I think something fishy went down. But the president should not be allowed to do that, right? The idea that just because the previous administration did a lot of shit. I'm glad Biden lost. I wish he wouldn't have lost to Trump. I don't think he was a very good president. He was a good person, and he did have some good policies. But you guys have to stop with this shit. The left is not the right when it comes to this. We can acknowledge that our people are fucking flawed as shit, and they're corrupt as shit too. You guys seem to think like, I don't know, man. I don't know where it comes from. Change the topic and put brain candy on the wheel. All right, well, you only get one. Which one do you want, baby?
Probably brain candy. I do want to point out, AAA says, take the correct legal steps to enter the country. The reason why there's a big process against this is there's been a lot of like cases where it's, someone came to the country seeking, asylum, right? They're here legally waiting for that immigration process to finish. And we've seen cases already where it's like, so-and-so, Enrique, whatever, like was at the courthouse to follow up with his next part of his proceeding to get his citizenship, right, or to at least confirm his residency status, and he was detained by ICE at the fucking courthouse. That's the type of shit that makes it weird. And then for the previous policy claim, like where was it when it was like Biden or Obama, right? Obama didn't make it so that the ICE so there's a barrier. Fuck, I'm forgetting the term. There's a limited range from the southern border in which you can enact these like stop and questions by Border Patrol or ICE or Homeland, right, where they can try and verify citizenship status. But Trump was like, fuck it, make it every border the U.S. has. So that means like Washington, like this Washington state, it means Maine for some reason, Why the fuck are there illegal immigrants in Maine? Fuck, I don't know. North Carolina now is within that zone. Like it's the the everything of the U.S. Unless you're like in a middle of nowhere bumfuck state. No offense to you bumfuck states, I love you guys, but like, yeah, like now ICE is everywhere.
And the other thing about the previous administrations, which by the way, I'm sure you know, Blake, deported more than Trump has so far. Obviously, they were in office longer, but even during his first term, okay. What I will say is there is a different. Most people on the left, you have been sold a lie. I said this morning. Most people that are on the left, this idea that you think we all want open borders, nobody wants open borders except some very few fringe people. Just like nobody on the right, most of them don't really want there to be a nuclear war on the Middle East to bring about revelations in the end of days. Okay, you got some fringe fuckwats, but most of the right isn't that. Okay. We don't want open borders either. And most of us go, look, there needs to be a process. It's more nuanced. Hang on. It's more nuanced than that in terms of we do want to be able to be a place that people can come if they're fleeing for their lives, but they have to do it in the right way. There's been talk about them working with Mexico to build big sort of like mini cities between America and Mexico or on the border where while people are waiting, they don't have to be in danger. All of this stuff. The difference between the last administrations and this guy is instead of doing it in a humane way that says America has laws, we care about our laws, we're going to get rid of gang members who are violent, we're going to get rid of the cartel if we can, but we're also going to understand that it is a nuanced problem. These are people's lives, these are people's families, and instead of just sort of, oh, if you don't like it, fuck it, I'll beat your ass back to Mexico. The high school bully mentality is not acceptable. Okay, the fact that some of you guys think it is horseshit. Okay, the difference between Obama or Biden and this guy is when they deported people, they weren't sending people in with the intention of making people terrified that they're going to come home from school and their mom and dad are going to be gone. That is a problem. And if you don't see it, I can't help you. But you do need help. Go ahead, Tech. What were you going to say?
We have a special story from Anna G.
What's up, Anna G? Yeah, what's going
on? Go ahead and on your end, stop sharing your screen for a bit.
Hang on.
Watch my screen.
Roboter says they did, however, human traffic a shit ton of kids. That's a real fucking problem. And if you actually believe that Obama was behind it, throw his fucking ass in jail. All right, here we go. I'm sharing it.
So this story is about a prisoner from Harris County who was doing volunteer, I think, custodial work, cleaning up the jail. And she was like, I'm exhausted. I want to stop. It wasn't like a forced thing. She was just like, I'm going to clean. And during that like conversation, she's like, I'm done for the day. I don't want to do this no more. She got into an altercation with the police, or at least not the police, the detention center employee.
Okay.
Yeah. So, don't know if there's audio. Sound like there's audio.
Okay, why did she punch that woman?
So the guard, I think, swings at her first.
Yeah, the guard does swing.
She's saying, I don't want to do this anymore. I'm not doing this. And she's like, I'm telling you. She tries to slap the inmate.
She didn't slap her. She punched her. And that's the worst fucking prison fight I've ever seen. There you go. Okay, that's some bull. Come on, you guys.
It goes more, I think.
What is that? God, Jesus Christ, man. And I'm not even looking at the chat. I can see it now. They have to do that to set an example because they're in a real dangerous job. And you have to understand at any minute there could be riots and their lives are on the line, blah, blah, blah. You know what? Then don't do the job.
At this point, she's in full fetal position, right? She's not throwing any more punches.
She hasn't thrown a punch for the last minute.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're continuing to strike her. She's just protecting her face.
Chat, if you do enough $2 choose he change topic.
It continues until they take her away. Supposedly they start laughing about the incident, and one of them like calls like a family member and starts saying like, "Yeah, I beat this bitch up."
Well, at least there's a
But, yeah.
lawsuit. Thank God there's a lawsuit.
I think it is finally over. Federal lawsuit, or it might be still ongoing. But yeah, happened at 1 a.m. By the way, she's like, "I'm tired. I don't want to clean them."
Chat, if you do enough
All
$2.
of y'all are depressed.
This is why what?
All of y'all are depressed. This
'Cause-
lasts like 30 or 40 minutes.
Well,
This is it.
I
This is
told,
why.
I know,
It's true.
but I told you. I said we're going to get into some
Yeah.
dark waters tonight because this shit's happening.
I'm just thinking like, I'm so much happier not knowing any of this
I
is
know.
going on. It's not that I'm not aware that things are happening, but I don't read into it. I don't go for more information. I see like, oh, this shit happened. That really sucks, and then I move on.
There is
Reading into it.
absolutely.
K-Nubs, $2. Chat, if you do $2 choo-choos, we'll change the topic. I think Bunny wants the topic changed as well. Choo-choo from K-Nubs. Mish with $2. Choo-choo.
Right. Well, okay. So, by the way, I know somebody did put money on to change the topic, but that goes on the wheel. We need 4 more, but we will change this topic. However, where are we with the movies? Because I think K-Nubs paid another $5 to put Brain Candy on. And so I think we have 2 more.
6, 7. Yeah, we have 2 more.
Okay. Well, let me see what some of the more depressing shit I had lined up. I won't.
Yeah, please.
We can talk about the plane crash.
See, okay, finally, something exciting.
It's really sad. It's really.
I mean, it's sad.
100
but
people
it's not
dead.
Politics.
200. Yeah. Okay. Well.
Well, actually, politically, they. No, I'm joking. I was gonna make a claim about like
God.
less funding for the airplanes or whatever.
Well, certainly in America today, a JetBlue slid off the runway. I don't think anybody was died. Was died. No,
They weren't died.
I'm glad they weren't died too. But I mean, I'm going to show you a picture here. It's really fucking sad. I don't live in a fantasy world, Electric Angel. I live in a world that is nuanced. It's not. You're the one who lives in a comic book
photo.
world. Not
Are
yet.
you getting trolled by chat?
Well, I'm not getting. Why is me engaging with somebody that disagrees being trolled?
Because you were just going to provide content, and now you're like, I'm not in a fantasy world.
Isn't
Do
that
the
content? Which content's better? Me arguing with an idiot or me?
You were like, Tech. I'm not going to look at chat. You tell me about the good chats.
All right,
And I chose not to read that one.
All right, I won't look at it until you tell me. All right, this is really sad. It's not a gross picture, but it's really sad. This was a family traveling today that died in the plane crash. The poster of this says this is one of the saddest photos ever taken. I don't know about that, but you know, and you got to go. But can you imagine the terror, the fear?
Yeah.
And I will not play these videos, but I'm sure you've seen them. This is the actual video of the plane crashing. And this video is the last frame of somebody who was on the flight live streaming it on Facebook. Actually, no, this is from Nepal. I'm sorry. This is a different, never mind. But it's the same experience. This was from 2023. He was live streaming it, and it just ends with his camera somehow surviving and still filming the burning wreckage.
Wow.
And it's just, it's not like this isn't political. It's just sad. And I understand, Bunny, exactly what you're saying. I understand that it's not that I'm not allowed to show the plane going down. I don't want to. It's morbid. I mean, I did want to watch it, and I did watch it a couple of times, because it's fascinating, and I hate that it's fascinating. But there's a great line in a Don Henley song where he says, I think it's the song "Dirty Laundry," and he says it's interesting when people die, and it is.
Yeah.
It's fascinating, but it's also, you can be fascinated by it, and you can also be sickened and sad by it. And
Did
yeah.
Did you see the video of the guy who survived the plane crash?
I mean, I saw a guy in a hospital bed. I'm assuming, somebody said he just walked away from it, but
yeah, he just walked away.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I wonder if he had people on the plane with him.
Apparently, His boarding pass is like one of two, so he came with someone else.
Seat 11A. 11A. But again, I'm not bringing this up in this case to. Bunny, I am so fucking torn at this point in my life, right? Because what you're saying, is not untrue, right? Which is, you have to sort of psychically, and I don't mean psychically like the X-Men, but you have to take care of your psyche. You have to protect yourself, because if you let this in all the time, it'll make you miserable. And I get that, and I understand it's not healthy. But on a day like today, where it just hit back to back to back, whether it's Israel and Iran, whether it's this tragic fucking plane crash, whether it is what is happening in LA and it's spreading across the country, whether it's just the girl being shot and seeing a chat, even our fucking little chat here, so divided about what these cops did. Yeah. It's just, there are certain days where, you know, it's you know, I don't know how the brain is supposed to process this. I don't know what I'm supposed to do, because I don't want to ignore it. That feels wrong. But I also don't want to swim in it, because that feels unhealthy, but it also feels disrespectful not to acknowledge it and talk about it.
And doesn't it all just make you feel trapped?
Well, I was going to make a joke and I couldn't come up with one. Yeah, I mean, it makes me feel shitty.
You know. I like feeling trapped. That's my least favorite feeling ever. And knowing all this stuff's going on and there's nothing you can really do about it.
Yeah.
Sorry to bring the mood down.
Anna, this wasn't you, buddy. This wasn't you. Anna G, thank you for the super chat. Says, sorry to bring the mood down, guys. I didn't mean to. You didn't bring the mood down. This was the show. I said at the very beginning of the show, we're opening with some fun stuff, and we did that. We'll wrap into some fun stuff in a few minutes. But, you know, it was a dark day, and, you know, I wanted to talk about it. I wanted to share it and get y'all's thoughts on it. And, you know, let me see if there's any more of this that we want to cover before we chill a little bit and look at some fun stuff. I will tell you, you're probably in a good position not to use AI as therapy, though, to deal with a day like today, because there was a study that came out that basically said you can use AI for certain things when it comes to therapy, but and this was fascinating, by the way, because I know I mentioned this on the chat about ChatGPT recently. It's like every idea I have is so great, and it's like I'm like, hey, I'm thinking about using this story for Madhouse. Can you help me? In fact, let me just show you what my and your guys.
Why are you doing that?
What's your guy's
just so
name?
You know. Wait, my guy, Gemini?
No. Bunny's ChatGPT.
Oh, Herschel.
He may be the same, right? But check this shit out. I'll just go. What do you think about a topic that clowns are scary for Madhouse? I think that's such a boring topic because I don't think clowns are scary. I'm sure it's going to go, that is prime Madhouse material. The idea that clowns is perfectly Madhouse. You've got psychological creep factor, cultural weirdness, and primal trauma all in one thing. And I'm just like, okay, but this has been going on now. Go ahead, Bunny.
I wonder if it's because the way you word it, because when I ask Herschel a question, I'll say, do you think it's a good or a bad idea?
Do you? Okay, give me one. Tell me, don't do clowns because he's already got that in his brain. Give me one that's a different. Okay. Do you think it's a good or bad topic for Madhouse to talk about what?
Politics.
Politics, okay. Great question. It depends on how you do it. Here's a breakdown of the pros and cons, but it's a great question, right? And here's the point, though, is that this study came out and said that OpenAI recently acknowledged that the sycophantic behavior of ChatGPT can raise safety concerns, and they've had to dial it back. They put out a whole white paper on sort of why they fucked up, and they didn't test. They literally called it something like sycophantic factor or something, where, and in therapy, a lot of these people are going to ChatGPT and stuff for like, hey, help me with this mental problem. And it's really kind of fascinating because on one hand, it will be so sycophantic to the point that it's really giving bad advice. But on the other hand, if you really are an AI and somebody's talking about, oh, you know, I'm a meth head or I'm having really dark thoughts and here's my life. There is an argument, and I'm not trying to trigger anybody. Please, no one do any harm to yourself. I believe there can always be a brighter tomorrow, but we're talking about it at a philosophical thought experiment level. There is a point where you could go, well, the AI is just like, well, look, you've laid out a pretty bleak existence. Do you have a chance at a brighter tomorrow? Sure. But the probability of it getting any better for you is 0.75%. So out of all the things you've listed, logically speaking, you may have a point, right? I mean, that's what I'm saying. It's like in some ways, a lot of the stuff that we get told is bumper sticker logic. And the AI might just be like, look, I'm taking the gloves off, baby. You want the truth? You want the logic? Here's the fucking logic. So it's kind of a weird thing. But the bigger point is, do not go to AI for therapy yet. One day, eventually.
No.
Busted Horn says, I unironically like when AI compliments me on my brilliance. Yeah, I understand.
Mm-hmm.
I understand. Yeah, you got to be careful. You got to be careful. Everybody can watch the movies this weekend, Joey Bag of Donuts. So where are we with the movies? I think we just got a...
fill the wheel, Jaffe.
All right, we are going to spin 2 more for Pineapple. Blake, I'm not avoiding anything. If you want to call in, I'll talk to you, man. But I'm not... What I don't do is I don't like to talk to people about stuff like this that just offer platitudes. I need some specifics. Otherwise, you know, what's the point? Okay, you have the wheel, right, Tech?
Yeah, I can look at my screen.
All right, let's see. Okay, so let me close my screen 1 second.
Yeah.
Hang on. Stop streaming. Okay, so this is for the first movie, and then this winner is going to go up against Mish's wheel, correct?
Yep, Misha.
And what is
on wheel for $50?
And what was Mish's
kill list from Mish?
Kill list. Okay, here we go.
Yep. So we have Benny Loves You by Detective Cochise, Brain Candy by K-Nubs, Pie by Warped Eye, Pineapple Express 3 times by Rocker Matt, Slice of Pie from Warped Eye
It's the same
again.
thing, yeah.
Spaceballs, Da Vinci Demons, and Yapung Frankenstein, which is Young Frankenstein. I had a typo.
Okay.
All right, and we shuffle.
Don't spin it yet. Bunny, which one do you want from this wheel?
Pineapple Express.
Me too, because I've never fucking seen it. I haven't seen a lot of these, but I definitely would like to see that. Sorry,
3, 2, 1. And it's going to be Brain Candy. I'm calling it now. I want Brain Candy, because K-Nubs wants Brain... Oh, you...
Now,
Rocker Matt, thank you so much for Pineapple Express.
Now we are going to go head to head in 10 minutes with Pineapple Express versus Kill List. And here's the deal. We're going to clear the wheel out. If you want to add one of those titles, $5. So you can spread the odds out. This movie's coming up this Saturday. You don't have to be a member to watch it. We're going to watch whatever wins on this wheel and Django Unchained. And that'll be starting Saturday, 12:30. However,
we're doing a third movie?
No. What I'm saying is if somebody wants to pay $5 to up your chances, like if everybody wants Pineapple Express, then give us $5. We'll put it on the wheel for every $5.
What?
But you can only choose that or Kill List and same with Kill List. You can do either one. Meantime, Blake's in the chat. Bring Blake on, Tech. Let's bring him into the chat real quick. I don't know what he wants to talk about, but he thinks I'm ignoring his stuff, and I'm not.
Hi,
Blake,
well,
can you hear
hold
us?
on.
Wait.
Okay.
Go ahead. No, go ahead, Tech. Go ahead first. In one sec,
Hi, Blake. How's it going, Blake?
Tech, what was it? What do you mean it's fine?
It's okay. I had gas. Well, how's it going, Blake?
All right, what's up, Blake? What do you want to talk about?
Okay, there's one specific topic I want to keep it on, and let's keep it short because I know you have a short attention span, Jeffy. So here's the deal. You cannot claim that the deportations during this administration are any less or more moral than previous administrations. That's complete fabrication and a lie.
How come?
If you were to type into ChatGPT right now or whatever AI that you want to use, that exact question, and I know that there is a reason that you haven't been, it won't be able to answer it either because it's a ridiculous question. Is it any more moral to send 3 million families home Regardless of the way that they did it, it's ridiculous. And we also know that it was not done in any more of a moral way, which is just insane to even insane. So,
wait, isn't the key of morality there the way they do it, not just like the fact that they did it? Like if I kill someone by like shooting him in the head, is that less or more moral than torturing them to death for like 13 days?
I agree with you. What I'm saying is that there's no proof. And if you were to go and look at the previous administration, if you were to go and look at the previous administration, you 100% backed that. You had no problem with the deportation at the time. You can look at countless examples of improper ways that this was handled by the Obama administration. It was tackled at the time, but for some reason, we all have dementia and have forgot about it overnight.
All right, so show me. Okay, well, wait a minute. Well, wait a minute. Blake, stop. Tell me what to type into Google that would...
Can I answer this?
Well, he's clearly under the impression that there were Obama and Biden. I just want to be clear on this, and then answer. Yeah, but let me finish. That there were Obama and Biden deportations that had the same.
People, we know that he wasn't even cognizant during his entire presidency.
Okay,
and now
so there's really no point in having a conversation.
Wait,
I'm trying to answer. Well, I'm trying to ask him a question first, which is, can you provide me a link to see the ICE guys in the street, people going into these homes, people who are applying for asylum being deported or in the process of getting a citizenship being deported, us deporting American citizens and lying about them being in certain gangs, and then it turns out they're not, and Obama or Biden didn't listen to the courts when the court said send them back, and they were like, yeah, we're not going to do that. That's what I'm asking you. Where's that?
Yeah, that's right. It's only happened during this administration. The 90% owned Democratic media is telling you the truth. I don't know how you can look at 9/10 of the media being owned by the Democratic media and actually accept that as not brainwashing.
Okay, well, isn't it 90% capitalist owned, not Democratic owned? Aren't they all like for-profit media companies? Shouldn't that be the key factor here?
Yeah, 90%.
Who cares about the political leading? No one's gonna like suffer like an economic loss because like, oh, I'm a Democrat versus a Republican. They're capitalist-owned media companies.
But by the way, Blake, I don't take offense to that, but I do think you should know me better than that. What I've brought up right now is ground news. You know I use this. I talk about it all the time. Ground news talks about the stuff the left is ignoring, and it talks about the stuff the right is ignoring. I am fully aware that none of these media companies, and that's what they are, including the little independent guy who just says, I'm just an independent journalist. Everyone's got an agenda. Everyone's got a mortgage to pay. And you've got to read between the lines and read a lot of different news to get at least something that semi might be close to the truth. You know I do that. You know I trumpet that and promote that. And the fact that you're suggesting otherwise is disingenuous.
Brain candy.
I wanted to...
So go ahead and type ChatGPT, were Obama's deportations more moral than Trump's deportations, and why?
Can I answer that real quick?
Yeah, go ahead, Tech.
Yeah. So the reason why there's more of an issue with how Trump is deporting people is because when we talk about the mass amounts of people that were deported under Obama, those were turnaround deportations, which still track as deportations, which means at the border they were stopped, detained, and then deported. Versus
some of them were. That's not, I've researched this greatly. That's not entirely true.
It's absolutely true that it happened. Of course, there were other times that it didn't happen, Blake. He's not saying that.
What I want to point out is the reason why the morality claim is made against Trump is because Obama didn't have a policy instated that said, hey, ICE, I want you to go out and find at least 1,500 immigrants per day across the country to deport them. And then upping that down up to, I think right now it's 5,000 immigrants in cities across the U.S. to deport them per day. That is
numbers that Obama hit. He's got 3 years left.
Again, I'm not talking about the numbers specifically. The numbers are a thing, right? Obama deported a ton of people, but that was at the border,
the people separated from their children, the 3 million plus people that were separated from their children, they're crying while their parents have been shipped back to their country.
The separation I'm asking you to try and consider is deporting someone entering the country and not having a chance to establish a life here with a family is not as bad as the guy who's been here for 20 years with no criminal record being caught at like a Home Depot and deported, and his family having no idea where he went. His kids who like were born here, raised here, have no idea about another country. So
It
that
says
is the
if
claim that I'm
Obama's
talking about
pardoned-
for morality. You're going to talk over me. I'm just going to talk over you then.
No,
The
no,
claim
no,
about
let's just- no, I
No,
would prefer
I'm
you-
finishing
I
my
would-
explanation. You're
Then-
doing the thing
okay,
now, Jaffe.
wait, stop,
I was trying to finish my
stop,
explanation, and you wanted to cut me off.
Stop.
Now you're doing that.
Stop. Then mute him so we don't have to suffer, and then unmute him when you're done. I don't want you
Yeah.
talking over him. I want to hear what you have to say and what he has to say.
Yeah.
But we don't want to hear no one wants to hear you guys talking over each other. So
Yeah.
mute him and then bring him back.
I trust Blake. I'll give him a turn to respond after I finish, which is the only claim for separation I want you to consider when it comes to morality is the way you go about these actions matter a lot. If I let's say if I go out and give like 10 people a black eye, but I kill one person, which was the more morally corrupt action. Numbers don't play a factor there, right? It's just it's how you did it.
Of course not. Okay. And what I would say to that is you're looking at something that is happening literally right now. And the reason that we are so enraged about it is because it is happening in the present. We were just as enraged 10 years ago about issues, right? The difference is you guys have chosen, I'm not saying you specifically, Tech or Jaffe or whoever it may be, the Democratic Party has chosen to completely try and get us to forget that the deportations even happened under Obama's administration. And if you look up the specifics of it, he was just as harsh to start, and he ended his policy on a softer note. It specifically
Can you
says
show?
that.
Okay, so wait, hang on. That's what I'm asking you. So, do I think Obama deported a lot of people? I do, more than Trump did in his term. Okay, agree. I don't think most people on the left are opposed to deporting people who are here illegally. I think the biggest issue, now there are some people that we think should have an easier path to citizenship, but regardless, it's almost a different conversation. The bigger conversation is deporting someone in a way that is humane and kind and American, but they still get deported is what we're talking about. The way Trump is doing it is cruel, it is un-American, it is disrespectful, and more importantly, when they literally ignore the court saying you can't do this, no matter what side of the aisle you're on, you should be furious that the president is not listening to the court system, because that basically makes him a king and he can do whatever he wants.
I have a very short statement to make. It's 20 seconds. My biggest gripe, whatever the fuck the word is, my biggest complaint about how Trump's doing it is the deployment of the National Guard without the consent of the governor of the state that would have the power to do so. When Trump himself, I think like 6 years ago, said himself, "Oh, I would never send the National Guard without the governor's permission." Like, he's on record saying that, and then now, because he's trying to do this and be seen as like the guy who did it,
easier path to
he's like, my last chance to be a president of fame or whatever.
All right,
is, I'm
Blake,
gonna do
yeah,
this.
you get the last word, Blake.
That's it.
Okay, so here's what I'm going to say. Last word, since that's all I get. If I were to commit a crime and I were to go to jail, would my child be upset as I was dragged away to jail by the police and I would not be able to see or talk to him anymore?
Absolutely a different situation, though. If you committed a crime, you would be given due process to determine if you were actually guilty, and you would go to court, and you would have a attorney appointed to you if you can afford one, and then you would usually have a jury who would say you're guilty or you're not. That's not what's happening here. These are people who are being picked off the street with people who are not identifying who they are. They're not showing badges, and they're putting them in cars, and they're taking them away. And people have no idea what's going on. It's cruel and it's un-American.
So you can admit then that I would also be taken away from my children and would not be given the opportunity to spend time with them.
Yeah, no one's saying if you break the law, you shouldn't basically. No one's saying that.
Illegal. I'm a legal citizen and they're illegal. Should they have the same rights that I have?
You don't even know if they're illegal, given that we've deported people who are totally legal citizens because they're not.
That they're illegal.
What?
We're assuming that they're illegal.
No,
if
we're
I
not.
were to go
No,
to jail,
we're not assuming that, and that is part of the problem, Blake. Is if these people are being picked off the street with very
He's saying
little.
for his hypothetical specifically, just for his hypothetical, assume that
In
this
your
person is
hypothetical, you are a legal person who broke the law, and you broke it, and you were found guilty, and you go to jail. Is what you're asking me?
suffer just as bad of repercussions. Being put to prison or jail. Have you been to jail, Jaffe?
It's irrelevant if I have or have not.
I know that you haven't because you wouldn't be talking this way.
It's irrelevant if you have or have not. Get to your point.
It's not 100% relevant because as someone who's been incarcerated unjustly, I can definitely tell you in the state of California that it's extremely corrupt.
Okay.
Extremely corrupt.
Okay.
You do not get to speak for yourself whatsoever. So California trying to put themselves on some sort of moral high ground is ridiculous.
You were arrested for what?
I can't go into it.
Okay, but you were arrested and you were found guilty by someone? Like a jury or a judge?
Pretty much what happened is I was given zero chance to talk to anybody ever. Nobody ever once gave me the opportunity to speak or give my side of things. Not one time.
Wait, when?
Zero times.
Wait. When? After you were arrested, you weren't given the ability to go be arraigned in front of a judge?
The judge, I was not allowed to talk. I was told to do very specific things, and I was told what I did as opposed to what actually happened. So it's beyond corruption. I'll fight it with every ounce
but
of
wait,
my being.
you were told by who not to talk?
The DA, the lawyers, the judges, they don't let you talk.
I don't believe you, Blake. Either.
Okay, you can.
I understand. I understand, but what I'm saying is, Blake, I don't believe that you're expressing what happened right. The DA, who clearly thought you had broken. Let me finish. The DA works for they're the prosecutor, right? They thought you broke the law, right? Why would the DA be giving you any information about how you behave in court? That would be highly inappropriate. You shouldn't even be talking to the DA. You're being prosecuted by the DA. Now, if you're court-appointed lawyer, the defense said, I don't think you should say anything when we go in there, plead no contest or whatever, and I'll take care of it, then I understand what you're saying. But the DA is not going to talk to the guy beforehand that he goes in front of the judge.
The DA relays information, and it's presented to you nonstop.
Okay, hold on.
So let me go ahead and just let you know what exactly happened.
I said, hold on.
Hang on, Blake.
K-Nubs has donated multiple times to change the topic.
Okay, we're going to change the topic. Blake, you get 10 more seconds. You get the final word. We don't agree, though. Let's still be pals. How about that?
Okay, well, I'm going to fight California corruption with all of my heart.
You should. You should. You deserve to.
Me too. I was attacked. Okay, let me say this very clear. I was attacked openly. All right? In North Park. Somebody came up and hit me in the face.
Mm-hmm.
I responded and knocked them out, and they tried to put me in prison for 10 years. That just happened this year. I never once had it presented as self-defense. 0 times. 0 times. The lawyers, the judges, everybody read it off to me as that there's no self-defense laws in California. We do not have them. They do not exist. If you do not believe me, you can also type that into ChatGPT. You are not allowed to defend yourself in California. All right? So
okay, well, I'm reading this. This is what comes up. Yes, California has self-defense laws. The laws allow individuals to use reasonable force to protect themselves, others, and their property from imminent harm. The key element of self-defense in California include a reasonable belief of imminent danger, the necessity of force to defend against a threat, and using no more force than necessary. So, are you maybe you were lied to?
So the judges trying to prosecute me unjustly is what you're saying.
Yes. Do you think that I think that there aren't corrupt cops and lawyers and judges? Sure. And I think you should, I think you should fight it if that's what happened.
Press charges, and the state still tried to ruin my life.
I understand.
They did everything to try and stop them from pressing charges, and they still tried to ruin my fucking life.
If I'm understanding the story the way
K-Nubs, thank you for telling us to change this topic. I love you, K-Nubs.
Right,
also,
I'll say Blake. Let's let Blake go so I can get the final word.
Just did that.
He's still there. I see him.
I know. Oh yeah. But you.
Bye, Blake.
All right.
Bye, Blake.
Blake, we love you. Also, California is corrupt. I believe you as well.
What I will say, my final thing on that is, Blake, if that happened to you, and I have no reason to assume it didn't, if you're presenting it the way it happened, then you should sue the fuck out of him. I'm progressive as it comes, but there's nothing about what you just said that most logical people would assume is acceptable. Sue him, and I hope you win. It's bullshit.
Prison for 10 years. I have to wait a year before they have to drop it.
I understand. All right, we'll talk to you later, Blake. Be well, buddy. All right, let's move Blake on and let's get to K-Nubs.
Yeah, fuck California. of my things.
Do not protect yourself in California. It's called.
Okay, thanks, Blake.
Sorry, Blake.
Okay.
I think he needs to use ChatGPT as his therapist.
Okay,
I do want to say, can we do a third movie for fucking Brain Candy?
I can't.
K-Nubs, well, I'll fucking stream it past the second movie. Because K-Nubs is now given, I think, $64 towards
All right, hang on. What the fuck is Brain Candy? The fuck
I think
is
he
it?
really just wanted to change the subject.
Well, now let's see what the fuck Brain Candy is.
Just
Let's watch
another
the trailer.
$2 from K-Nubs for Brain Candy.
I'm gonna watch the trailer with you guys. Let's watch the trailer. I think I
watch
just
the trailer for Brain
swallowed
Candy.
my gum.
I might, you know what? If no one else wants to watch it, I'll watch it with K-Nubs in the fucking
will
thing.
you hold
Me and
him? Will you hold him?
I'll hold him. I'll order him popcorn. I'll send him unicorn meat in the mail.
No, don't fucking tease him.
Yeah.
You're going to jail for that shit.
Wow.
Tech, you're going to be prosecuted. You're going to be sharing a cell with Blake.
He DM'd me his address to send it to him like a while ago. Mish, for $20, third movie's Brain Candy. Thank you, Mish. I'm confirming it. You know what? If Jaffe can't do 3 movies,
All right, can we somehow watch the trailer first and just see? You guys may hate this. What if it's like the sequel to that Peter Jackson piece of shit? Here you go.
K-Nubs has great taste. Goosebumps. I like it around.
How do you feel, patient 957?
Like a fresh towel.
Rorator Pharmaceutical, makers of the world's leading tablet for gas,
Fascinating.
was in trouble.
My empire is crumbling!
They needed a new product.
We might be releasing the most effective antidepressant ever.
Go on.
Really don't have my notes with me.
They needed it now.
Is it ready for production?
Yes, sir. It's ready to go.
Have there been any side effects?
Yes, sir. A few side effects. Woohoo! Is this the result we're looking for?
Paramount Pictures and Lakeshore Entertainment present the first motion picture from the kids in the hall.
We think that everyone should have access to it, like ghetto children. Apparently their lives are horrible.
If you know them, you know what to expect.
Really kinky stuff like 2 dogs making love with a cat.
If you don't,
Hey, you kids, get out from under that lady's dress.
we apologize in advance. David Foley,
So your dad's dead. Hey, is that eggnog?
Bruce McCullough,
Something wrong? No.
Kevin McDonald,
Were the handcuffs totally necessary, officer?
That was your husband's idea.
Mark McKinney,
Your baby kicked. Did you feel that?
Scott Thompson,
I'll be good. I'll learn to like hockey.
Five Guys,
Mrs. Hurdiker? Get out of my head! Get out of my head!
multiple personalities,
Do you think I look too feminine?
one movie. The Kids in the Hall, Brain Candy.
It's got your eyes.
We're watching
It's got
this.
features that look like various friends of mine. Hey!
Oh, Lauren
We're
Marcus
watching
produced
I
it.
haven't seen that in forever.
Have you? What did you think of it, Bunny? How was it?
Oh, I love this movie.
Okay.
I saw this in high school. It was great.
All right. So look, here's the deal. First off, what is happening with the other movie?
Yeah, I don't know why he did that, but I was like, it's already been paid for. But yeah, fuck it. I guess we'll do that too.
All right. So let's spin the wheel then.
Oh, then I gotta add these bonus fucking double dip Candyland fucking.
But
boats.
as for Brain Candy, what I can commit to on Saturday is 2 motion pictures. I may be
And I'll
able
watch-
to, you're right.
I'll
I
watch
may
the
be able to
third.
stick around for the third, but I'm not entirely sure because I have to prep for you and Sarah getting here. I have things to
Yeah,
do. But if I can't make it, Tech will stream it. Okay. Did not even spin the wheel yet. We're about to. And look, let's be clear, by the way, about tonight's topics. I don't think the show is going to pivot to be full on political topics. I think what has to happen, though, and we can talk about this, of course, because we want you guys to enjoy the show. But what has to happen, though, is we have to be able to pick topics that we want to talk about and are interesting. And there is a point where, we can only say so much about some of the topics we've already covered, right? And Mish is right. Today was dark, and so it's hard to not acknowledge that. It's not that I don't want to talk about UFOs. It's not that I want to talk about, but you know, there are days where nothing happens, or there's you know, nothing to really talk about. And the worst thing in the world is doing a show where you don't give a shit, because you guys can feel it, you guys can tell, and so we'll try to balance it. But you know, it's not. Sometimes it's probably going to be maybe not politics, but maybe things that are happening in current events and other things. But we'll find the groove. We'll find the groove. Okay, watch the stream. Is that what's happening? Click on that.
Yeah, click on that. CPU is dying.
Okay, so this is Pineapple. Oh, Jesus. Poor little Kill List. Because Mish basically... Oh, Mish. What if Kill List wins? Spin that goddamn wheel.
All right, so we have Kill List by Mish, and we have Pineapple Express 3 times by Rocker Matt, and Pineapple Express 4 times by Mish. So let's fucking see. We're going to shuffle it, because that'll make it fair. You know, no matter where it lands, it'll be mixed up. You know, it'll be mixed. Like me! Anyways, here we go. 3, 2, 1, spin! Oh, no. Fuck.
Oh, my God! Oh, my God!
Wow.
That's insane. That's... 1 and 8, boys. 1 and 8, and it ended up being.
I really would much rather watch Pineapple Express, but I'll watch whatever the fuck you guys want.
You know what? I'm gonna defer to Mish. Mish, if you want to concede Kill List for Pineapple Express.
What is happening at Hacker in that many days? I'm not following, buddy. I'm not following, pal. But hit me up if you
please respond.
Yeah. But I'll show you before we wrap it up tonight. I'll definitely show you guys some fun, stupid stuff. All right. I'm not going to leave you high and dry.
You know what I'll do, Jaffe?
Let Mish pick, says Rocker, since he voted on both.
I'm going to remove one.
No. I like Rocker Matt's idea. He says let Mish pick since he voted on both.
That was my idea.
Okay,
I'm going to remove 3 Pineapple Expresses. If it happens again...
Mish says, let's do Pineapple Express. You guys might not like Kill List. It's too violent. I love violence, but... Oh, my God.
Almost.
All right. All right, well, there we go. So if Mish doesn't really care, then Mish says, let's do Pineapple. So we have Pineapple and Django and Brain Candy. It's the third movie, but I'm not guaranteeing my attendance for Brain Candy, but I'll be there for the other 2. Not because I don't want to see it, just because I got other stuff I got to do. Bud says, Tech, pull open my DMs and gave Jaffe a topic. Well,
we're wrapping up, I think.
Yeah, unless it's an amazing topic. But I'll show you something real quick before I let you go. Can it be the second movie, Jaffe? Wait, so what movie do you want it to be? The second film starts at 3. So yeah, I mean, we could put Django first.
Django
Oh, I've seen. Yeah, it's brilliant.
Django's the longer movie.
We'll put Django. We'll put Django first at 12:30, and then we'll put this after.
Brain Candy, and you're not going to watch Pineapple Express?
No. We'll put Pineapple Express as the second film. Is what I'm saying.
Don't want to watch Brain Candy.
I'm not saying I don't want to watch it, but out of the 3, no, I don't want to watch it. But just out of the 3, because I have a date with my new girlfriend. Would you like to meet her? Here she is on the screen. This is
vacuum cleaner. That's a vacuum.
No, it's this lady.
Ah, I sent you that.
Yeah.
Hi, Arlene Thomas.
I
actually played a nasty alley cat for Orbit Gum. I'm not good with text, so please forgive me. I can't do it to music.
I love sketch comedy.
And my dancing I sent to you, I believe on my dancing to music, on my submission.
I like how she just. I mean, yeah.
Audition
what the
tape,
fuck is she
Jaffe.
auditioning for? I don't know.
For Cats, the musical.
What about this guy?
I sent you that one too.
Meow meow. Meow meow. Meow meow.
That's
meow,
attached to his testicles?
to his penis.
Well, what's the point of this? He's trying to make it longer?
Yeah, this is called jelking.
Meow, meow.
Why is he saying meow, meow?
Meow, meow.
Well, you know, like a vagina.
Meow, meow. Meow, meow.
Wait a minute. What do you mean like a vagina? He's trying to make his dick bigger. Why is he saying meow, meow?
Well, he's what do the women call it when they're like, oh, I'm just, you know, I'm saying it so it'll come to me. What is that called? It's not aspirations. It's
affirmations.
He's affirming. Yeah, he's affirming vagina.
Okay. Tech also sent me this. I don't know where I don't know what's happening with your feed.
It's just on my Instagram reels. This is a man who dives into his own septic tank.
But
you don't want to look. You don't want to look at the rest of these. You don't want to look at the rest of these on his page. You don't. I get this guy all the time.
Falling in love.
You should just click his page though. His page is great. This is not the best one of his. Yeah, click his page and then go to his reels.
But why does that guy dive into his septic tank? What's the point?
He has a poop fetish.
Yeah.
But why is he wearing a little hat then? I mean, you'd think he'd want.
No, he's wearing a skin tight suit.
Oh.
Yeah. Go to reels. Scroll up. It's the center option. Yeah. Click on the second one. Actually, 1.7 million views is pretty good. Okay.
Okay.
Dude, that account's great. Oh yeah, this guy's not an AI prompt.
He's not. He's a real guy.
It's a real guy.
I am not AI. I am reality. I am not a prompt. I am reality.
Do you not know who Mr. Hungry is?
I am not made
like his channel?
from a computer. I am reality. I am not made by a click of a button. I am reality. I am not AI. You cannot create me.
Yeah, and go to his reels.
The fuck?
Your feed is very.
Click on.
Yeah,
click
his
on the
feed
first
is
one.
very strange.
It's the bunny. 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 It's the bunny.
That's a banger.
And go to another one. Do the 201,000 right there. Second option.
He's in his car.
Because his wife won't let him
protein
hang out in the house.
Probably look like this. But either way, you want to be making sure you're taking your protein. I use Levels Protein. Make sure you guys get your protein.
Sponsored, by the way.
Yeah, how is this guy getting sponsored? Tech? The fuck is the matter with us? Jesus Christ!
Look at the top comment. Is the company? It's Levels Protein saying clap, clap, clap. It's the actual company.
All right, why don't you reach out to them and say, what the fuck?
Would you do this, Jaffe? Would you cover yourself in Levels Protein?
That's what I have to do? Can't I just basically take it and say I feel better? Can I?
It works.
This is great.
Ricky says, I love protein. Whey is good too. God damn it. This is great. Yeah. I have so many fucking. If I open my Instagram reels right now, it'll just be shit like that.
Let's open mine. How do I get to my reels? Just click reels?
This one is girl left me at the club restroom because before sex she pissed on my Toy Story boxers.
Wait, these are my reels. I'm going to see. So just scroll down them?
Yeah. Use your arrow keys, press down. So hit play.
Oh! Do you see what she did?
Yeah. Straightening iron on her tongue.
Huh?
Straightening iron on her tongue.
Idiot.
You're a dumbass.
You're a dumbass. You're grade A, number one, bona fide first class. You're a dumbass.
Whoa, what are you doing?
Exactly
I'm sorry.
You can't park here.
Oh, I'm sorry. I did not
They're
know.
exactly
Did
like
you
what?
see the signs all the way back there?
No, I
My
came
reels
from.
are exactly what I thought they'd be. I never look at my reels on
Oh,
Instagram.
I want to
have
see your reels.
Over there, so I did not
Oh,
see
mine
those.
are
I'm
This
so
is
sorry.
illegal.
Yours are just what?
puppies.
I got some of those too. Oh, okay. I'll show you the ones that I've liked, that I've favored, or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know if I can show my reels. I'm in trouble.
Yeah, mine had a couple butts in it. I wasn't going to mention the butts, but
How do
they
I
were
f-
puppies.
How do I find
mostly.
the ones I've liked? I hate their interface. It's so shit.
I've never used Instagram on a computer ever.
View archive. Not notifications. View archive?
Oh, do you want to see mine?
No. I want to see mine. Hang on. Saved. Here we go.
I think, I'm not sure if this one will get us banned. Here, don't look at mine, but Bunny, look at mine.
Come on now.
Jaffe,
at that
don't show mine on screen, Jaffe, but Bunny, tune into mine real quick.
What? We're looking at mine right now, Ted.
Yeah.
you son of a
But I need
bitch.
Bunny's permission to show mine. Don't look at it yet, Jaffe. But Bunny, are you ready?
Uh-huh.
All right, Jaffe, you better not be looking at mine. Okay.
I'm not looking at yours, idiot.
You know that video, Bunny? Are you there? You don't know what that video is?
Yeah. Oh, no.
Chat's gonna
I don't
know if
have
I
my
just say.
glasses.
If I just say, all right,
Something.
I guess that's it.
What's
I don't
that?
know if you know that reference, chat. Let me know.
What? Are we watching your video or what?
Well, I was letting Bunny see it to see if you knew the reference. It's a video about a guy who kills himself. He like shoots himself in the head with a shotgun.
Well, I don't want to see that.
Oh.
Well, yeah. So that's the original video, but it was AI. It turned it into like a birthday party.
Okay,
Like,
why don't
right
you
before
watch
shoot
something good like this?
Okay, no. Oh. No, we're not done.
Oh.
I'm never riding.
What?
Let's watch Jaffe.
Mommy, stop laughing.
He's all scared. I see you. You're scared. Okay.
Wow. That's tech. That's tech right there.
Yeah.
Look at this one. This is great.
That big mud streak.
Hell yeah.
I don't know why I think this is hilarious, but it is.
Yeah, the kids getting beat up by some.
Oh.
Just sit up straight. There. Okay. No. Oh.
Come on. Now. Come on now.
That poor baby.
I know. Let me see. Oh, thing. Now I think that's AI though. But isn't that cute?
Cute. Yeah.
Oh, this is my daughter, Tech's girlfriend. Sarah doesn't see it, but this is the girl at the end of this video is exactly like Sarah was in middle school.
I'm built different.
It looks like her, it acts like her.
Oh shit.
You don't think that's like Sarah, man?
Yeah, Sarah would do that.
Sarah would do that. All right, fellas. Well, that's been the show. That has been Gabbing. What is this show called? It's been Madhouse. We're back tomorrow. Here's what we're doing. We're back. Oh, well, I'd love to see Bunny's Mish, but I don't think she's got it on her
No.
Your computer's over there, right?
Never logged in on a computer.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's over there.
So listen, tomorrow we are back at in the morning around 10 with an Up with Jaffe. Probably won't be as political as today, but it's a shoot the shit stream. We'll talk about whatever. And then tomorrow evening is Madhouse, Friday High Day. And then Saturday is the movie fest. 2 movies for me, 3 for Tech. We got Django, we got Pineapple Express, and we got Brain Candy. Sunday we're off, and then Monday it all starts again. Nemo says, Jaffe, how come you didn't stream the Konami event? Because it was at 6 a.m. and we didn't make our goals last night, so I figured fuck it. And I just got up and I paid some attention. I may be streaming some games tonight. We'll see. I got to get some food. I may, Alex. I may jump into some Call of Duty. But otherwise, that's the show. Thank you guys very much. Bunny, any final words before we let everybody fade out for the night?
Nope. Have a good night.
Sorry it got so dark, you guys. Sorry, Bunny. We won't go that dark, but we will go different. We're gonna start throwing in
tomorrow.
Tomorrow's high.
Friday.
Yeah, we're getting high as fuck tomorrow. And then Tack, any final words?
Thank you for everybody. I wanted to say for the 4 people that DM'd me and said please sing for Nemo tonight. Also, Anna G just said it as well.
Yeah.
Song for Nemo.
Fuck yeah!
We'll give Nemo a song.
We will, but we're gonna
Nemo
give him.
deserves
But we
it.
gotta wait though. Wait a minute. Then this goes out. Nemo has earned it. Let's do.
Anyway, 4 people in total DM'd me on Discord and said, "Do you think it's time for Nemo to get a song?" I'm pretty sure we did a song for Nemo last week, but. He'll get a
No,
song.
I think we did a song for Nemo like a long time ago. But I don't think he was there for it. I think it was something like that, and he maybe commented, or maybe not.
Nemo's always in my hearts. I don't know if Nemo's a he, her, they, them, she.
All right. Well,
him.
Nemo, as we wrap up
That
the
it.
Madhouse, this song. Hang on.
Oh, Nemo never got a song. Never mind.
Never got a song. This song goes out to you, pal, and let me make sure you can hear it.
This episode's getting demonetized for sure.
Tack, you start.
I got you. Well, hello, Nemo here. Has been in our hearts, in our souls, all winter long. And now we're getting into the summertime. I'm trying to heat it up with a little bit of Nemo appreciation at the end of our day.
Here we go, boys.
Because that's you.
Let's take him home. Take him home, Bunny. Go.
Nemo! I love you, Nemo!
Nemo's a champion. He's my friend.
He spends his money all the time. Yeah. Nemo spends his money to buy shit for Bunny. He is the coolest while he is. I got nothing with that. Go, Tech.
Nemo's our champion. He spends his money. He looks smart.
Bridge. Now Nemo
song is
came. He saw his wife. She looked so beautiful and angry and beautiful and angry and all those things. He got a knife and then he stabbed the son of a bitch who tried to come into his kitchen and steal his Campbell's soup. Bunny girl!
Oh, Nemo, you sweet angel. My friend.
Eat the Campbell soup, bitch! Look out for our Nemo with the child. Soup. He pours in his poop. Soup. soup, and soup, and soup, and soup, and soup, and vagina.
Wow!
Pinot Noir.
Pinot Noir. Thank you, everybody. It was a pleasure. Welcome to the Madhouse, and goodbye from the Madhouse. We will see you again tomorrow for Friday High Day.
Be well,
Song
you
goes out to
guys.
Nemo.
See you guys.
Isn't it
Bye.
also cool? He got #1 in the fucking chat, top
goddamn
chatter,
right.
and a song.
Friday the 13th, baby. All right, we'll